Hello, can you hear me now? Oh my god, dude. I'm so fucking tired of my internet, dude. Like, how? How is it this bad that multiple times a day it's going to cut my internet out? Every time it does that, it's like it fucking kills the stream, dude. Oh my god, it's so frustrating. It's so insanely frustrating. God, whatever. Let's just keep moving on. Please, if anybody, please just help me move out of this shitty house. I want to move so bad because I have no other internet options. And they, every fucking day, shut my internet off without fail. At least once a day, they shut my internet off for no fucking reason. Like, God, I'm so tired of this shit. I call them, I tell them, hey, it's my job. I work from home. I need to have consistent internet. And they're just like, bleh. Like, fucking shit, man. I hate this shit. And there's nothing I can do. I can't use any other internet service provider. It's literally a monopoly, and for whatever reason, it's just allowed in the US. Like, fucking shit, man.
Time to Beat was
so any support to help me move out would be greatly appreciated.
Over the last few months of 2017, this was their battle to obtain one of the NES's most coveted world records.
Ugh. Based on price and availability, is Starlink not an option? Dude, what the fuck is Starlink? Are you telling me to get satellite internet? You're telling me to get satellite internet from Elon Musk. I would rather Alt F4 my own existence than pay Elon Musk for internet. You want me to trust Elon Musk for my internet service provider? Yeah, no, I'd rather die. Jesus Christ. Also, isn't that shit not even, like, available yet?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, your internet is ass. I just want to move out of Florida, man. I'm fucking tired of this shit. I'm so tired of living in this fucking hellhole.
Fuck. Oh, it's so close. So close.
Yeah, satellite is not a viable option by any means, regardless of how ultra mega powerful you think Elon Musk satellites are. Ugh. There are plenty of cities that have, like, fucking state-funded fiber optics and shit. Well, there's one city I know of that has, like, state-funded internet, basically, where internet's actually like a utility, like it should be, like every other fucking civilized country does it. Jesus Christ. God.
That's a good one.
Oh, but that's like communism, I guess, to have fucking internet as like an actual utility. Fucking hell, dude.
Thank you.
Move to Minnesota.
Maybe. Yo, they got fiber? Another W for communism. Anything that improves the lives of Americans is quote-unquote communism. Because, of course, it has to be. Boom, boom. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. The fact that, yeah, fiber optic has been available in Europe for way longer than it has in the United States, and then in the United States, it's not even like a guaranteed thing.
No! That was one hit. That was the. I got the crit. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Aw. That's such a wholesome, like, I failed the run.
Shit, something missed somewhere.
Endy was one damage short. One damage short from
Didn't America sabotage communism?
Probably
Yeah.
the first ever sub 11.
That's like the American project from
These
like
four guys did
since World War II.
between them. Yet after 3 months of work, only one new world record had been achieved. Castlevania had turned into an absolutely brutal speedrun. The run started and ended with two of the toughest parts of any game out there, the level 1 jail, and getting the pattern for and executing the 2-cycle Dracula fight. And in between that was a run filled with precision, tight timings.
You didn't think
and
to
the
use
need for
daggers. This is
full
the optimal
perfection.
way to grind.
Getting all of
Chosen
that
one ton.
was just so difficult. Naturally, Castlevania entered
We've
the
been
era
playing for almost 11 hours and we're at 417. We're about to hit 420 attack power. Let's fucking go, gamers.
of no new records for a little while. Throughout the first few months of 2018, the record stayed at Jonte's 1131. The game went from 4 top-tier runners clashing for the record to none. But then, in April, a brand new runner began making a push for the record. And this guy had a lot of experience getting world records. This
420 is the sex number? Yes, indeed.
JC had held the world records in Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, and Battletoads, 3 of the most iconic NES games. And by April 2018, he was ready to try tackling the original Castlevania. Over the next month, he took the time to lower his PB down into the 1130s, getting very close to Jonte's 1131 world record. And on May 2nd, 2018, JC got this run past the level 1 jail. In level 3, he got some bad patterns from the enemies. He got hit by a bone thrown by a skeleton at the start of the level.
No, he got
and a raven
boned?
nearly ran into him a screen
Bone
later.
zone.
He also mistimed his cross throw on the mummy boss despite getting a pretty good pattern. In level 4, he nailed the cave skip but got knocked back by a bat moments later.
No.
Dude, the Mega Man 2 video being fucking age restricted makes me so mad. It's such a good video.
So he was just over 2 seconds behind the
We
world
watched it
record
last
going into
night. It
level
was so
6.
good.
But he had time to save.
The Mega Man 2 video is
He
like
get
my
the
favorite summoning
2-cycle
salt video, I
Dracula
think.
fight, which would save a few seconds over the fight Jonte got. He also was going to go for the
said a
machine
naughty
gun Cookie
word.
Monster strats that Hyrixen first used. By stepping into the Cookie Monster sprite and mashing jump, sub-weapon, and whip in a rhythm, it's possible to deal damage faster, since the holy water hits the Cookie Monster's top hitbox and deals damage instead of just hitting his bottom half. JC was going to try to get all of that and make a huge comeback.
That's the
to
reason it got
record.
age restricted, because of excessive profanity, quote unquote. Because in one section of the run, during somebody's world record pop off, they went, fucking fuck, I fucked up the fuck, or some shit like that. I don't know. They said fuck like 5 times in like 3 seconds. And that's like YouTube's excuse. And it's like, that's bullshit, because like there are monetized videos with way more, yeah, I think someone at YouTube or somebody flagged their videos, like reported their videos, or reported that video like with bot spam or something like that. I don't get it personally, but you know, whatever. It's fucking terrible, yeah. He made a video that we just watched earlier today explaining the situation, and I feel really bad for him, man. I do.
Oh no.
Because it's going to hurt his channel overall. And he spent fucking dozens of hours on that video
no.
just for it to get fucking age restricted and shit. Like, that's really rough. Oh, the stun lock.
Fuck. Oh my god.
Nice stun lock. Woo! World record.
No! Death Ruler! Death Ruler!
That's such a wholesome,
Aboard the J Cruise.
such a wholesome pop off.
And with that, JC had finished the first world record with a 2-cycle Dracula. He was on top.
Great
But he
content.
still had one more second to go. JC wanted to take the record lower, and the sub
Yeah, that's what I was saying
11:31 was right
earlier.
in front of him.
YouTube automates their appeal process, even though they tell people that a manual like review will happen, like a human is going to review their shit. It's so obvious because so many YouTube creators have had the same exact issue where there's an issue where the algorithm flags their video as like harmful or hateful or like too much profanity or whatever, usually probably from manual flagging. usually what ends up happening is somebody reports or mass reports a video. YouTube bots will just take the video down, or will demonetize it, or will age restrict it, or whatever. Then the YouTuber will try and manually be like, hey, I think this is a mistake. Can we get a manual review on this? YouTube says, sure, we'll do a manual review. Meanwhile, they don't actually do a manual review. All they do is they just double down on whatever the bot said, because they don't have the manpower to manual review as many content claims as they actually receive. That's my conspiracy theory. There's no way to confirm or deny it, because YouTube will never communicate what's actually happening. Yeah. Usually it's just shoot now, ask questions later, basically. The problem of a huge platform, exactly, yeah. I kept starting over and giving up. I'm thinking about replaying Blasphemous at some point, too. I feel like if I give it a new try with a different mindset, I think I'll have a much more fun time. We're almost at 420. Let's fucking go.
Time of 11:29 would represent a major milestone in Castlevania speedrunning. The last time a 10-second barrier was broken was Baze's 11:39 back in 2016.
I love speedrunning Blasphemous.
The number was 11:29.
I feel like the game's a lot better with the new updates, right?
JC
with fast warping and shit between bonfires.
Mythical 11:29. But he wouldn't get an 11:29. Instead, he did this.
Massive PB.
Oh my fucking god. I'm done. I'm fucking done. Holy shit.
What a great pop off.
Whoa.
I'm done. I'm fucking done. That's so sick.
Whoa.
Dude, I love world record pop offs. They're so great.
This blew the world record out of the water. How was he able to get such an incredible time? He pretty much just cleaned up the mistakes from his 11:30. Remember the slow mummy fight, bad enemy patterns, and the knockback by the bat? None of those were present in his 11:27. And of course, to top it all off at the end, was a 2-cycle Dracula fight. All in all, it was a really clean run with a nice level 6 at the end. JC stopped grinding for the record after this run, and who could blame him?
That
He
is
had
sick.
nothing left to prove. He was the first to break the 11:30 barrier.
No
and
420
he
yet.
absolutely smashed
I don't
it.
want to miss the 420.
For the rest of 2018, JC's 11:27 would go unchallenged. But starting early in 2019, that all changed. It's time to talk about 3 players who had one of the greatest world record chases of any speed game out there.
We did it!
First up is
420! Everybody! Oh shit! Guys, we've done it. Hold on. Hold on. We did it! It's 420, baby! Let's go! We did it! Okay, I'm gonna get fucking my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, my life will get fucking ultra DMCA'd by Snoop Dogg. That's all we're getting for today.
He ran Castlevania. He started streaming his attempts in mid-2017 and slowly improved over the course of 2018. He had a bit of experience running the other NES Castlevania games too, but the first game was
no, I don't. I have nothing against Snoop Dogg.
Next up is
It's the record labels that will try and get you. Yeah, it's the rights owner. It's exactly.
Joey. He ran many different NES games over the years, getting world records in games like Kung Fu, Mike Tyson's
Yo,
Punch
Kung
Out,
Fu.
Dragon
Easy,
Warrior,
Jay.
and RC Pro-Am.
Thank you for the 5 gifted. Wait, you're telling me we're 24 subs away from the sub goal? Not bad. I'll take it.
He had a lot of experience getting world records, and when he started running Castlevania in the middle of 2018, he improved
69
really,
for the 420?
really quickly.
Hell yeah.
Finally, we have SBD Wolf. He was best known for his Cuphead runs, for which he was a top contender for many months. Toward the end of 2018, he made a drastic change and started focusing on a different game, Castlevania. He
Cuphead, Castlevania, same shit, honestly. They're basically the same game.
By March 2019, these 3 players were very close to JC's world record. Weijui and SBD Wolf each had an 11:32, while 2snek had an 11:28.
2snek.
It was
That's a lot of
obvious
snek.
that all three of these guys were about to make a serious push for the world record. 2snek had a shot at it on March 19th. He was using
A randomizer that disables leveling up. Yeah, it's very easy to do. You literally just you can use a cheat code to force your experience required to level up to like way too high that you would never get that much experience in a normal playthrough. So you never level up. It's really, really easy. I've done level 1 playthroughs before. It's somewhere on my YouTube channel. You can just type in fun fact. If you're ever curious if I have done something and you want to know for yourself, that's not how you do that. You can go to my channel. Hello. Go to this little magnifying glass icon, and you can type in like level 1. And right here, Soten level 1 hard mode speedrun, randomizer speedrun. Either. It all depends on if I can get enough money to buy that. Here you go. Shield rod. I'm level 1 throughout the entirety of this run. More defense one. Yep. So there you go. So I've done a lot of shit like that. It's just you'd have to like look it up. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. But can you do that on mobile? I actually don't know. I think you might be able to.
a few new, small strategies to help him out. Probably the biggest one was one developed by fellow contender Weejui. Many boss patterns are determined by how many frames have elapsed since the screen began. Weejui figured out that by slowing down exactly 66 frames, the mummy bosses would always give an extremely fast pattern. Those frames were lost by standing still twice to throw 2 crosses, and standing still once to whip. It worked beautifully.
Love to see a setup like that.
He also used a different strategy in level 5, thanks in part to a mechanic used by several different NES games. The frame roll system.
Imagine you're waiting for a bus.
In Castlevania, it checks every 16 frames to see if you've arrived at the door or not. If you haven't made it, you have to wait however many frames are left until the 16 frames run out. Basically, it means you can only gain or lose time in increments of 16 frames between 2 doors. A good example for this is to imagine you're waiting for a train to arrive.
Oh, it's a train this time. Okay, Summoning Salt. Last time it was a bus, but this time it's a train. All right.
Leaves every 16 minutes. Once you get to the stop, you might have to only wait a minute.
We're getting very bloody today, yes.
If you barely missed it.
In about 2.5 hours, there is going to be a big tournament race to determine who else is going to be in grand finals with me for the speed gaming tournament race. So we're going to watch that race when it happens. So in the meantime, we've just been chilling, watching Summoning Salt videos, grinding out Muramasa. You know the drill. Hopefully that's been chill for you guys. I've been enjoying my time here with you guys, so. You know how it is.
You could have to wait up to 15 minutes for the next one to arrive. This comes into play all over Castlevania. It means it's possible to not play perfectly and bleed a few frames, but still not lose any time to as if you had played perfectly. As long as you get to the door on the same frame roll, or before the train leaves, you won't lose any time. Sometimes you had lots of time to play with, while other times you had to play very, very well. Anyway, this mattered for a new bone boost 2snek used at the start of level 5. Normally, you got either the fast or the slow bone pattern. But now, if you got the slow pattern, you could go for a couple of backup strategies. Either the alternative bone, which works every
alternative
time
bone,
or the TAS bone, which doesn't always
Who's in the
work,
running? It's Jupiter and Fire 1250 are the two. And they're both 1-1, so they're doing one race to determine the winner. So they've both won one race over each other.
2 frame rolls if it does. If it didn't work, the player could lose more than 2 seconds. In this run,
so it's one race and that's it.
Alternative bone, so he saved 16.
TAS bone was my nickname back in high school.
He then got the pattern for and executed the 2-cycle Dracula, and had a slightly cleaner Cookie Monster fight than JC. It was enough to just barely edge him out and get a new world record.
Fuck, is that it? Is that it? Holy shit, is that it?
Bro, when they got to
6
start
days
counting
after
frames.
This run, Weejui was dead even with 2snek's world record going into level 5. The splits compare with his personal best, which he was slightly ahead of. He had gotten out of the level 1 jail, nailed his own mummy strategy in level 3, and got the cave skip in level 4. However, he got the slowest bone pattern in level 5.
Slow
When
bone.
combined with a couple other small slowdowns, he fell to 2 seconds behind the world record. But he nailed a 2-cycle Dracula fight, and it was enough to get him a pretty nice personal best.
Oh, no world record.
He submitted this run to the speedrun.com leaderboards, and in his submission comments, he simply said one phrase: world record soon.
Soon.
Alright, plus RNG.
The fact that they only have 50% chance of getting the fucking 2-cycle
Oh,
is insane. That's so rough.
I didn't jump backwards. You got it.
Bum bum. Bum bum.
Why?
Bum. Damn. This game looks painful to speedrun at the top level.
There we go.
Can we get over to this side,
Get
please?
wrecked, Bat.
They're losing runs to all sorts of crazy dumb shit. I'd be pissed.
Nice.
Happy Wheels world record progression. Yo, Summoning Salt about to hit that up too. I'm waiting for the Summoning Salt video and then I'll watch it. It's a really fun casual run. I imagine casually, yeah, when you're doing baby strats, it's not too bad.
Dude.
Like doing like a casual like sub 12 or something like that's probably not too hard. Fuck. Whatever. Just seeing the pain and hearing the pain in the voices of these players is just ugh. Such a vibe. A bad vibe.
Missed the crit.
Missed the crit. Yeah. You need good RNG and then you have to hit like a frame perfect jump back, frame perfect
Easily
crit.
used. Only the 2-cycle
It's
jump
so
wouldn't be all
stupid.
that easy. Well, here we go.
CV3 is even worse. Oh boy, I don't even want to know.
Well, triple bones. That's a lot of time waste right there.
Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum.
Oh shit, son!
Oh shit, son.
That's a PB. And damn, that's close to the record too.
I had like maybe 40
Upon
attempts
timing
and got a
this run, it was
17-minute
determined that it
time.
missed the
Jeez.
world record by just 9 frames. Unfortunately for Weejawi, this is as close as he's gotten to the world record.
Oh wow.
He's a great player and will probably be back to try for the record again in the future, but as of now, he just hasn't quite gotten there yet. But of course, we're not done yet. There's still one of the 3 record contenders we haven't talked about yet. SBD Wolf. SBD Wolf was grinding for the record around the same time Weejawi and Tusnek were. In May 2019, he lowered it down to 1127.13. He got the bat crit, cave skip, and the fast bone in level 5, but he accidentally went up a staircase that he wasn't supposed to.
Nice.
With a 2-cycle Dracula at the end, it was enough for the record.
What a world record pop off.
Excuse me, what?
But SBD Wolf wanted more. He knew there was still time to save, so with the help of more strategies, he began grinding even more. One such strategy was the short whip. Players normally upgraded their whip to the long whip in level 4, since you could reach enemies from further away with it. However, although it made the run a bit easier, it wasn't necessary. You could skip picking it up and save 3 frame rolls by doing so, nearly a full second. He also started going for more item manipulations in level 3 if the opportunity presented itself. The first part was to manipulate the potion drop from this bird and the rosary from this bird. As long as you were able to hit
RSR soul
another
manips
item
are fun.
drop
Yeah,
between them,
honestly, I've been
those were
wanting
the
to get
items
into
that you would
Aria
get.
speedrunning again
It
with the
saved
soul
time by
manips
temporarily not having to deal with any
and the item
enemies.
manips and stuff.
SPD Wolf then took it a step further thanks to a route discovered by Tusnek. Further manipulation could be done before the boss fight. It was possible to get another rosary and then a potion from 2 more birds, saving significant time by not having to deal with all the enemies. Unfortunately, this made the boss pattern random once again, as 66 frames aren't lost on the way to the mummies. Wijui was going for the short whip strategy, and Tusnek was going for the level 3 manipulation. However, SPD Wolf was going for both, so he had potential to take the time even lower. And over a few months in the middle of 2019, this is what he did.
Oh baby, the music's playing. You know what's about to happen.
$11.26. Yes.
Oh
That's
shit!
it.
Multiple
New
world
record.
records?
And that's probably an 11.25. Okay. Sorry that wasn't a huge reaction.
Cute. I feel like everybody that makes a ROM hack for Aria or like the DS-Vanias is like, we'll start out pretty tame, and then they're just like, what if we just make it a fucking dumb Kaizo hack? And it's like, okay, I guess that's what you think is fun or whatever.
Oh god.
I personally would prefer like well-made video game hacks, but whatever.
Okay.
To each their own. Bro, it's still going? How many world records does this motherfucker set?
Should be a PB.
Damn, dude.
Hell yeah.
1124.
After 15 years of attempts, after countless tricks, shortcuts, and glitches, after battles for the world record, after heartbreak and eventual success, that's where the world record stands today.
Damn.
This has been the history of Castlevania World Records. Thanks for watching.
Is that still the world record? Let's find out. Oh, just kidding. It is. A lot has happened since then. Well. Oh, it's the screen scroll shit. I remember seeing videos of this when it came out. Not what I wanted to do. Shut up. Get out of here. I meant to pause the video. No? It won't let me play? All right, never mind. We're good. Anyways. Cool. What up, Eric? We still got 2 more hours to kill. 16 Star is a classic, dude. I'm down to watch 16 Star again. I love the 16 Star world record history. Let's go. There might be a Soten world record history at some point in the future. Who knows? Just let the man take his time to getting there, I guess.
Tribute.
Thank you, Nos, for the gifted.
Super Mario 64,
and make them your
16
slaves.
stars. It's the most popular category in the most popular speed game of all time.
Yep.
Holding a record in
The
it
most
is one of
popular
gaming's
speedrun of all time
toughest
right here.
accomplishments. Ridiculous glitches
Thank you, Matthews.
and insane movement. Both requirements for a world record. Just a lucky few have been able to call themselves a record holder, and with the incredible level of competition, it's hard to hold on to it for long. But let's take a look at those gamers and see how they did it. This is the history of the 16-star world record.
Oh yeah, Mario 64 speedrunning is like the reason like speedrunning became big on Twitch. Speedrunning became big in general in a lot of ways. Mario 64 did a lot for speedrunning, for sure. Can we stop? I just want a gap where I can farm blood, please. Thank you. That and Minecraft. Minecraft's a more recent thing, and also the Minecraft speedrunning community, I feel like it's very separate from the rest of the speedrunning communities.
Collect. There are speedrun categories that involve collecting all of them. However, the developers only required you to collect 70 of them to beat the game. That's how many you needed to make it up the endless staircase and into the final stage. For years, 70 stars was the minimum needed to beat Super Mario 64. But years after the game's release, that number suddenly dropped to 50. Eventually, it was lowered again, this time to 31. And in 2004, the number fell to just 16. Super Mario 64 could now be completed in under half an hour. And in the summer of 2004, the first 16-star speedruns of Mario 64 were performed. There were a handful of records set over the
Where are we at with the Muramasa grind? We're at 425 out of 999. I think I'm like 17 or 18% of the way done, and we're 11 hours in.
course of a few months, from players like Cyberwrath and Christina Korsak. But the dust settled a bit when a runner named Illudude set a big record.
Ever played Mario 64?
In November
If you didn't grow up with it,
2004,
I wouldn't worry about
he beat the
trying to
game
play
with
it unless you really,
16
really want to.
stars in 21 minutes and 56 seconds. And here's how he did it.
Yeah, dude, these super old speedruns
The
are
first
crazy.
goal in a 16-star
The fact
speedrun
that there's
is to
video
collect
footage
8
is
stars,
insane.
which unlocks the first Bowser level, Bowser in the Dark World. He got the first star by going into Bob-omb Battlefield and ground pounding the Chain Chomp's pole 3 times, unlocking the star.
No bomb
One
clip?
of the fastest ways to move in Super Mario 64 is the long jump, so Illudude chained these together over and over whenever he could. Next, he went into Whomp's Fortress to collect 5 more stars. He got the first 2 by
Whomps.
going to the top of the stage,
Yo, he ride the
defeating
elevator?
Whomp, and then climbing to the top of the fortress. He then quickly got the star on the ledge by side flipping to it,
Sunshine's
then
cool.
opened the cannon, used it to blast away the wall, and shot himself into the star to collect it.
Sunshine's better
A
if you just
slow
delete all the
process that ate
cutscenes
up
from
around
it, though,
half a
in
minute.
my opinion.
Finally, he got picked up by the owl to fall into the cage and collect another star. That put his total at 6 stars. The remaining 2 came from sliding down Peach's slide to collect both stars, despite a bit of slow movement along the way. Illudude was then able to enter Bowser in the Dark World, where he used long jumps all over to move through the stage. It took 2 throws to hit Bowser with a bomb, but eventually he got the job done. Now that he could go into the basement,
Not even the
Illudude's
first try
next
throws?
goal was to collect 7 more stars.
Can't believe this guy
to
made
allow
mistakes
Mix
back in
Rabbit to appear.
2004.
The first 2 stars came from shifting Sandland, where he got one from quickly jumping at the top of the pyramid, and the other from slowly waiting on top of a pillar for a bird to arrive. The next 2 came from Lethal Lava Land, where Illudude boiled the big bully and collected 8 red coins. His movement wasn't ideal in any of these sections, as his only real strategy for moving fast was to long jump whenever he could. Finally, the last 3 stars came from collecting the Toad Star, then heading into
Yo,
Hazy
Toad
Maze
Star's my
Cave,
favorite star. I'm so
getting
good
the
at that one.
Emergency Exit Star, and the Watch for Rolling Rock Star. Now, Illudude had 15 stars, which spawned Mips the Rabbit. Normally, you can just grab him for a star, but Illudude was going to use him for a trick discovered by Dom Dunk a few months prior. This was the key to beating the game with 16 stars.
I feel like he's roasting movement that he could
The
do
first
better.
step is
Hey! Yeah, you're right.
getting Mips through this door. By putting him down right in front of it, then going through the door, you can quickly jump back.
One of these days, I want to do 16 star and get decent at it, like get like a sub 20 or something like that. Because I feel like it's one of those things that like all speedrunners should like try. Because it's just part of the speedrunning like zeitgeist. It's part of the speedrunning culture to understand and like play Super Mario 64 a little bit. Minecraft was another one that I wanted to learn a little bit because I enjoyed casually playing Minecraft a decent amount. I didn't play it until the pandemic. The pandemic was my first interaction with Minecraft because a friend of mine was like, "Yo, let's get drunk and play Minecraft since we have nothing better to do." And I was like, "That actually sounds like fun. I've never played Minecraft, but I like getting drunk." So we did that like for a decent amount of the pandemic. But speedrunning it sounds really, really hard. You casually speedrun Donkey Kong 64? That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, you know, to each their own, I guess. But yeah, I think it's just important to understand the cultural impact of Mario 64 on the speedrunning culture. So I installed it on his PC and we played together sometimes. That's really cute. I like that. Don't start speedrunning Ninja Gaiden 1? Yeah, I don't think I will.
And stand inside the door. From there, you can pick up MIPS, turn around, and place them on the other side. Then you want to take MIPS to this door, which you normally need.
Also, you're complaining about my movement when, honestly, you don't even know how much I can schmoove in this video game. You're not even ready, bro. You're not even ready to watch my schmoovement. I am a legend of Mario 64 speedrunning. Just let me, where is it? Where's Mario 64? Why does it start with Bloodstained? Did you not upload it? It has to be uploaded somewhere. Yeah, why is the first Speedrun Coliseum not Mario 64? I scrolled past it. I don't believe you. Yeah, you don't think that I could speedrun this video game? Watch and learn once I find where my part is.
Never mind. We're going around.
Look at this. This is your boy with the controller. Watch this shit. Your boy with the controller.
Upstairs. Oh, up. This is the only thing we didn't actually have access to. Oh, that might work.
Oh, I don't think I got it. I got second try, baby. That's right. Second try, BLJs. I've never played this game before. He says after not getting it second try. Third try, BLJs. And I clipped into the clock, baby. Say I'm not a gamer. I did that without even knowing how to play the video game. Get owned, nerds.
30 stars to pass through. By placing him in front of it, you can jump between MIPS and the door to get pushed through it, skipping the 30-star requirement.
I think this is a little big.
The MIPS clips could be difficult to perform, but if done properly, they would save many minutes off
My
the Super
instincts
Mario
just kicked in,
64
exactly.
speedrun. After this, Illudude went into Dire Docks, collected the submarine star to unlock Bowser in the Fire Sea, and went through it as fast as he could. Once again, it took him 2 throws to defeat Bowser, but he now had the second key. It was time to head upstairs, where he was about to perform probably the most iconic
You with disc golf
trick
sometimes
in
just
Super
get
Mario
lucky.
64
Sometimes the
speedrun,
strat is just get lucky.
the backwards long jump. This trick was popularized in a November 2000 edition of Nintendo Power magazine.
Nintendo Power!
But it's quite likely Nintendo knew about it as early as 1997. Since that year, they released an updated version of Super Mario 64 in Japan that made the trick impossible. When you do a long jump but hold the stick backwards, the game gives Mario a slight boost of speed. It normally snaps back to
427.
normal quickly after.
We're at 427 total attack. And we're level 45.
But if you land fast enough, like on stairs, it's preserved so you can do another backwards long jump. By jumping over and over, it's possible to catch Mario in a loop where his speed continuously builds up. He can keep going faster and faster.
Oh, you're going to Wet
If
Dry
your
World.
speed builds fast enough,
Calm down.
it's possible to be on one side of the wall on one frame,
And then on
the
the
other
other
side
side on the next.
And that means if you mash correctly, you can backwards long jump and fly through doors.
Zoom.
Illudude performed this on both the 50-star door and the Endless Staircase, bypassing the requirements for 50 and 70 stars respectively. Then, it was a matter of making it through Bowser in the sky and hitting Bowser with 3 bombs at the end.
Does this one-shot Dracula maxed out? At 999, no, because you're only doing 999 damage with it. At max, like once it's maxed out, you're only doing 999 damage. And Dracula has 6,666 attack or health points, so it's going to require at least 7 attacks.
Throws, but it was enough to finish with a time of 21:56, world record by a significant margin. This run was pretty good for 2004, given how new the MIPS clips and BLJs were. However, as noted before, the movement left much to be desired, and some tricks took several tries. And about 6 months later, a player named Kirby Carter would lower it by about a minute.
Carter?
He definitely did clean up the movement a bit, but was still mostly using long jumps. He didn't miss as many throws on Bowser, and was able to get the BLJs extremely quickly.
Nice.
However, the biggest revolution introduced in this run was the new, more reliable version of the MIPS clips.
Oh, that's the plan, is we're going straight to Galamoth once it's maxed out.
For
The issue
one,
is it takes 100 hours to max it out, guys. We're only 11 hours in. I'm going to be doing this for a long time.
by dropping MIPS on the
It might only take like 80 hours because we're actually on really good pace. Because we're like 15% of the way done. We're not halfway done. We are like only 15% of the way done because it takes longer and longer to level up the Muramasa the more that you level it up. So it's going to take like probably close to 80 hours, but the estimate that I got was 100 hours. So
the seam between the door and the wall, Mario gets pushed forward and becomes stuck inside the door.
Sub 100
The
pace,
rest of
let's
the
go.
trick can be completed
World
as
record
before.
pace, baby.
For the second clip, it's the same process as the first clip, but instead of getting stuck in the door, Mario gets pushed through all the way to the other side. These clips were both faster and more consistent than before, becoming the clear methods to use. So, going into mid-2005, Kirby Carter's 2046 was on top. A solid record, with video proof that, from 2005, wasn't always a given. The record timeline was pretty straightforward at this point, and had followed a pattern seen by most early speedruns from the mid-2000s. Early runs recorded on VHS with primitive strategies, followed by improvements in big chunks over the...
Dude, that's crazy to think, like, you're recording runs on VHS tapes, which means that, like, if you reset, you've just wasted all of that tape that you just recorded, right? You can't record over... Well, actually, no, you can re-record VHSs. They had that technology, right? Never mind. I'm smoking crack. So you're telling me the experience level up is not static? No, it is not. Yeah, you could. It's been a long time since I've used a VHS. I was very young when VHS tapes were being used, but I never like worried about that stuff. My dad always did that shit. What am I leveling? I'm leveling the Muramasa Blood Katana. It is currently at 428 attack. You guys can't really see it because I'm covering it, but trust me when I say it's at 428 attack total. Here, I'll show you. Boom. 428 attack. Let's go. Pog champ. Any poggers in the chat? That's awesome. You know what? I can just move this over here, I think. Because we don't need to see chat on screen, really. One of my daughters recorded over their dad's wedding. Nice. That's Pog. Pog champ. It still covers the attack value. God damn it. There's nowhere I can put this shit that doesn't cover something. I don't know. I'll just put it here. All right. Back to it.
following years.
But yeah, we're getting this
However,
to 999, which takes
after
about
this
100
point,
hours-ish.
the
I think we're on
16
pace to
star
do it in like
history
80.
Takes a bit of a turn. For the next several years, there would be two major caveats in the timeline. First,
the cheaters.
Cheated or faked runs would be illegitimately on top of the leaderboard for more than 80% of the next decade.
Cheating!
For most games, cheated runs do occasionally happen. But
I can't believe you would
rarely does it
cheat in a
affect
video
the
game.
record timeline as substantially as it did for 16-star. So, the fastest runs from legitimate players will be included in this video instead. And second, although
Sunday morning
most runs
cartoons.
had video
My
proof
dad
when
did that a lot
performed,
too. My dad has some recordings of like lost videos, if I remember correctly, of certain TV shows that like never got DVD or VHS releases. So, like for the longest time, that's how you used to consume MST3K vids, was through like other people's VHS recordings because they never got re-released because of copyright issues. Thank you, Matthias, for the gifted sub, or continuing your sub, I guess, is how that works. But yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. Finally got the credit card working? Hell yeah. How many hours of Summoning Salt videos are there? There's probably close to 100 hours. We could probably watch every Summoning Salt video while we do this.
Have very little video surviving today, and some of the surviving stuff is very low quality. Many runs were live streamed at the time, but the videos weren't saved. There were also many emulator records at this time, but since they reduce lag and aren't kept on the same leaderboard as console runs, they won't be included in this video.
Yeah, get out of here,
It's
emulator
a bit tricky to
players.
analyze runs from this period, but we'll work
Just
with
buy
it.
an N64 and a capture
After
card
Kirby
and a
Carter's
computer that can
2046,
record it.
A player named Le Coureur 103 would rapidly lower the record down to 1908 over the course of 2005. He posted his times on the Speed Demos Archive forum, but videos for these runs seem to have never made it online.
What?
So, despite lowering the record by a minute and a half, there's not much to analyze. Then, by 2009, the record scene moved to Japan.
You just had to
Through
understand what they
August
meant. Hell yeah.
2009, 4 players
Cartoons
set a record.
teaching English, that's
Sho,
pretty
Shigeru,
wholesome.
Cass, and Taka. Most of these runs don't have surviving video, and the ones that do were live streamed with 2009 levels of quality.
Bro, this live
So
stream is
instead,
so sick.
We'll skip to December 2009, when we finally get a run with a clean video feed from Taka. Remember, Kirby Carter had gotten a 20-minute run in 2005, and there were allegedly 19-minute runs later that year. What did Taka get in 2009? How about a run clocking in at 17 minutes, 18 seconds?
Bro.
To put it bluntly, this record was on another level.
That's huge. Getting a 2-minute world record run is insane.
The amount of tricks, the level of optimization, everything about Taka's run was miles ahead of runs from years prior. Truth be told, there had been many new strategies slowly implemented in runs
Real
over the
TV.
years, but they all came together in Taka's record. And they started literally right when the game begins. Normally, once you reach the middle of the bridge, Lakitu stops you for a cutscene. By jumping on the very edge of the bridge railing, Taka was able to skip the trigger for the cutscene and save about 7 seconds. Once he went inside, however, the run really started to take off. This was thanks in part to a handful of major new tricks. Kirby Carter's run from 2005 was good, but Taka had some tricks up his sleeve that changed.
Yeah, my plan is to go back and get Spirit Orb later.
Trick number 1. In
Bomb
Bob-omb
clip.
Battlefield, Taka performed the bomb clip. By activating the bomb and getting pushed by it toward the gate,
Wait.
you can precisely jump before it explodes, getting pushed through the gate.
I've
to
never
collect
seen
the
that
star.
bomb clip before, and I've watched this video
saves close
before.
to 10
That's really funny.
seconds over the standard method.
I don't remember
then
seeing
went
that.
to Womp's Fortress and performed trick number 2, a legendary one known as Cannonless. The normal process for getting the Blast Away the Wall star is slow, and involves opening the cannon, jumping in it, shooting at the wall, and landing to collect the star. However, this can all be skipped by performing Cannonless.
Bro,
where you
Cannonless?
just run at the wall in the perfect spot and collect the star without blasting away the wall.
Oops.
It saves around 20 seconds over using the cannon, which is huge, but the issue is the precision involved. You need to hit the exact right spot in the wall for this to work, so that Mario grabs the ledge the star is on top of, and his hitbox moves up to intersect with the star. Even taking time to set up the trick didn't help very much. The most skilled players struggled to hit the trick more than about 20% of the time. 16-star runs were transformed with cannonless.
I do
You
not
had
have a
couple
turbo
shots to
controller
get
now.
it, but if you
Turbo
failed,
would not
you'd
work
have
because
to
it would be
reset.
too fast.
So now,
It'd be mashing too
most
fast,
runs
and it
wouldn't
would
make
just
it
swing the
past
sword
2.5
instead of
minute
swinging the
mark.
knives. So I can't use
Thankfully,
turbo really.
Taka hit cannonless first try, just so he could go and perform trick number 3 immediately.
Trust me, my hands
after.
are fine. I know how to
By
play this
triple
video game
jumping
without
and
hurting
wall
myself.
kicking
I've been
off the
doing
cave
it for
perfectly,
almost a
You
decade.
could fall in it without having to use the owl.
I'm switching multiple
It only
methods
saved
of like
around 6
quote unquote
seconds,
mashing.
but owlless
to save
became
my
a
hands.
staple of 16-star runs as well. Another big upgrade for Taka was his movement. Older runs had just used long jumps, but Taka carefully selected his moves to optimize the speed.
How many
of each
stacks do we have?
section.
We're at like
Diving was used all
427
over for short
attack
speed
power right now.
boosts, while long
Did I
jumps
remap the
still had
controller?
their
I
place for
cannot.
longer straight
On the Xbox
sections.
360 version of the
This
game, you cannot
upgraded
remap the
movement could
controls.
particularly be seen
I would
in
have to
Bowser in the
modify
Dark
the controller, which I don't
where
plan on doing.
Taka varied his movement all over to collect 8 red coins for an additional
I could
star.
plug in the Blitz
The
box
back half
actually
was
and use
clean,
that
too.
to mash, and that might
Fast
be.
mips
You know what?
clips
Why didn't
and
I think of doing that?
VLJs.
I think it'd be easier on my hands to just use the Blitz box, and then I can alternate fingers. Maybe I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna try that out actually.
Helped save some additional time. However, the run definitely wasn't without its faults. He had some slip-ups, like here in Lethal
We'll
Lava
try it for a
Land,
little while.
and he missed the throw on Bowser at the very end. But thanks to the upgrades in movement, strategies, and overall execution, Taka's run was more than 3 minutes faster than the early records. Super Mario 64 speedruns were about to enter a new era. Gone were the days of infrequent records with suboptimal strategies. Over the next
It probably
year
is
and
covered
a
in
half,
cat hair,
the
but you
record
know,
would be
whatever.
broken nearly a dozen times. Most of the videos for these records didn't survive, but the few we do have show gameplay far ahead of its time. The two dominant record holders for this era were Taka and Shigeru. They took turns lowering the record into the
You
low
mentioned this like an hour
17s,
ago? Oh,
before
whatever.
Shigeru broke
Oops.
the sub-17 barrier with a 1654. But when Taka took the record back with a
Oh, well.
1652, he had a trick up his sleeve.
Tricks.
LBLJ.
LBLJ.
LBLJ stands for Lobby Backwards Long Jump, and its origins can be traced to an October 2006 video where Mr. Robert Z jumped up from below and grabbed an exposed ledge. He theorized that you could then possibly do a backwards long jump, and it turns
feels
out
pretty nice.
he was right.
The
A
buttons are pretty,
tool-assisted runner
easy to
named Mijitsu
use.
showed it off in a TAS a month later, and it was eventually adopted by runners.
Mijitsu? Wait.
Backwards loss a month right. A tool-assisted runner named Mijitsu
That sounds really familiar.
showed it off in a TAS a month later, and it was eventually adopted by runners. By backwards long jumping into the basement ceiling, which extends upwards, you can land and repeatedly jump to build speed. You then land in a black area outside the front door with a lot of speed still built up. Then, you rotate
This is
the
pretty
camera
comfy.
precisely to steer Mario's speed toward the 8-star door. If done properly, Mario will shoot through it and land next to the entrance for Bowser in the Dark World. This ultimately saves time because many of the 8 stars needed to open the door are slow, like ground pounding Womp 3 times. By ignoring the 8-star requirement,
I have multiple
players
ways of
could
doing
now
it.
just get the key right
Yeah,
away,
Mijitsu ran Mario on
collect
Saturn.
3
That's what I
fast
figured,
stars
right?
in Womp's Fortress, and head straight to the basement. It saved
are they the
half a
same
minute
person?
overall. Armed with LBLJ, Shigeru would continue to grind 16-star in 2010 and 2011. He would pull away from Taka.
Aw, Kitty
lowering
wants
the
to see the
record
stream.
deeper into the 16s, while optimizing his movement and tricks along the way. It was starting to feel inevitable that somebody would break the 16-minute barrier.
Don't know, kind of doubt it. Yeah. It could just be like a common-ish username. It probably means something in Japanese. That might be a more common thing. Who knows?
But as it turns out, the first person to get a sub 16 wouldn't be Shigeru. It wouldn't be Taka either. In fact, it wasn't anyone who had set a 16-star record before. In August 2011, someone else broke through with a 1554. And his name was Matt Turk.
What?
Nah, I'm just kidding. It was Akira.
Debated.
Akira's run was a culmination of strategies that had been slowly developed over the years. It started with LBLJ.
Oh,
He got it
15-pound
very
cat?
cool,
Yeah, that's fair.
quickly rotating the camera to drop Mario in Bowser in the Dark World. After collecting 8 red coins in the key, he got Cannonless first try, Owlless, and the side flip star, making all 3 of these stars seem effortless. In Lethal Lava Land, he boiled the big bully, got
Boiled
a
the
couple
bully.
stars in the volcano, got the log rolling star via a precise triple jump wall kick, and got 8 red coins. These 5 stars were all relatively quick, the longest one taking only about 20 seconds. He then went into Shifting Sandland,
That's fair.
got the star in the top of the pyramid,
Dogs are sweet and
then
cute and
bounced
nice
off a
too.
sniffet to get the bird star early. In Hazy Maze Cave, he triple jumped to get into the dinosaur room quickly, then grabbed the emergency exit and rolling rock stars. The MIPS clips were about perfect, and in Dire Dire Docks, Akira went for the risky front sub to save a couple seconds. He tore through Bowser in the Fire Sea, barely making a fast cycle. Both the backwards long jumps were instantaneous.
It's a
and
dog
he
that
nailed
acts like a
every
cat.
Bowser
Yeah,
throw
maybe.
to wrap up a sub 16-minute run. This seemed like it would be the last minute barrier ever broken in 16-star.
Sub
There
16 is
simply wasn't enough
wild.
time to save to take it past 15 minutes. That being said, there was still some room to take it lower into the 15s. About 6 months later, Batora would grab the record for the first time with a 1552, losing a bit of time to bad movement early, but saving time at the end with a cleaner Bowser in the sky. Not to be outdone, Akira would beat him by a full 8 seconds in April 2013, thanks to a fast LBLJ at the start and tearing through the other BLJs. This 1544 would then stand on top of the leaderboard for the next 2 years. That's an incredibly long time for a category as competitive as 16-star.
Watching
There
Deadpool with
were
a family,
few
no
reasons
worries.
this happened, but one really big reason is a trick about 3 minutes into the run. I'm talking, of course, about Cannonless.
Yo, sock
It was
folder
a pretty
time?
big blow when 2/3 of your runs would die to the same trick right at the start. There wasn't a way around it. You either got Cannonless, or you reset. For years, Cannonless had been ending record runs before they could really begin.
Acts like a giant cat. Oh,
and it
that's cute.
helped lead to stretches like this, where no world records were set for many months. If someone could just figure out a way to set it up consistently, to grab the star every time, it would open up so many new doors in 16-star.
Not literally,
And in
but
October
figuratively.
2014, that's exactly what Sockfolder did.
Sock folder?
Sockfolder is a speedrunning legend.
Yup.
He's found revolutionary setups for tricks in Ocarina of Time, Luigi's Mansion, even the original Super Mario Bros.
And Symphony of the Night. Don't forget about Symphony of the Night. He found Ace in Symphony of the Night.
Once he sets his mind to figuring something out, he's usually able to do so.
What
This
about
time,
us?
It was a way to solve Cannonless. On October 8th, 2014,
Mr. Salt, please, just a
he
crumb
came
of
out
note
with this
of
complicated
attention.
setup. You would grab the ledge,
Please, Mr. Salt.
pull yourself up, punch twice, reset the camera, walk straight down,
How do people even find Ace?
adjust the camera.
By looking at like RAM and other addresses in the game to like manipulate them and figure out. Nobody cares about Soten. Bro, don't say that. You're literally here watching somebody grind Soten. Come on. Ace's arbitrary code execution allows you to basically glitch the game in very, very, very broken ways.
Pull yourself up, back foot,
It's so broken it's not
punch,
even allowed in any
walk
speedrun
straight down
category
again,
except for Ace
reset
categories.
the camera again, then pull yourself
Which there's
up
only one,
and
which is
walk
any
down.
percent with Ace.
If all this was done properly, you would grab the star every single time. The obvious problem with this was how slow it was. Even if done quickly, The setup cost 10 seconds over.
Just look at the game's code, Smile.
That's a significant amount of time in a run like 16 star. But luckily, later the same day, runners DefTech and Gothic Logic would find an improvement. You didn't actually have to do the first part of the setup. You could skip straight to jumping on the ledge next to the plank, then perform the setup from there. This meant you'd only lose 6 seconds instead of 10, which was a bit more reasonable, and the whole process still lined you up perfectly to grab the ledge and collect the star.
Heck yeah.
It's no exaggeration to say that cannonless setup was one of the biggest finds in speedrunning history. Those 2/3 of runs that died at cannonless were now gone. It now had a near 100% success rate. This gave the record so much more potential, since without having...
Oh yeah, the randomizer is the only reason I have a YouTube channel that's doing well and a stream where I can actually get over 500 subs. If it wasn't for the randomizer, I don't think I would ever be where I'm at now. The randomizer did do a lot for interest in Symphony of the Night as a whole.
Having to reset as much early, players could focus on optimizing the rest of the run. So, throughout 2015, a handful of runners were gunning for the record. And what resulted was a mad dash to push the record down as much as possible.
Yeah, the randomizer was huge. If it wasn't for the randomizer, I'd probably be still working some shitty service job, or I'd be in school miserable right now. So I'm very grateful for it. The Strider World Record History, you think it'll happen? Is there a Strider World Record History video in the works, or are you just being a memer? If it wasn't for the randomizer, I don't know if I would still be streaming. Honestly, I feel like I would have quit streaming 100%. Streaming was so brutal before the randomizer came out and before my YouTube channel started to actually do well. It was just really tough to commit to that amount of time. I don't know if there's one in the works. It's always nice to believe that maybe our favorite games will get a summoning salt video. It'd be nice.
By May 2016, Zaya had taken the record all the way to 1524.
If you found a big glitch that's useful for world record runs, then yeah, you'll get mentioned probably.
Nearly every trick hit throughout the stages.
How long has it been out? About 3 years.
The only real noticeable slowdowns were a slow start to Pillarless and getting bad boulder luck in Hazy Maze Cave. A very impressive record given how many tricks were now in the run. And incredibly, this record too would stand for nearly 2 years.
Your favorite games are too niche?
But
tell me about it.
A couple of new runners began to get really low times. Their personal bests dropped below 16 minutes, eventually into the 1540 range.
I think that's how most people found me, was through my randomizer videos.
Going to make a push for the record.
Either that or maybe my world record videos.
Is Aki and Ouija.
Or the cheater exposed video.
In November 2017, Aki got on a run that had potential. A great LBLJ, pillarless, cannonless. After getting the second key,
this is back in 2017. Wow.
1525, but could potentially get as low as 1518 if he matched his best last split ever. A record by 6 seconds. It was all going to come down.
Found in the AGDQ practice room. Nice.
They were decent, but not good enough for a record. Aki would finish with a 1528, 4 seconds behind Zaya. But a few months later, he'd have another shot at it. 4 seconds ahead of his last run. He once again needed good BLJs.
Yeah, the only reason, that cheater video just popped off in the algorithm because cheating and speedrunning, for whatever reason, is just such a big interest thing for the YouTube algorithm. YouTube algorithm
This time, it was good enough.
will
of
pump
15-22,
cheater videos in
beating
speedrunning
Zaya
for some
by
reason
2
really hard.
seconds and making Aki the new record holder.
It's a game with critical acclaim. At least that's fair. At least.
Tribute.
But
The
a few
cat that
days later,
mews.
it was Ouija's
And
turn.
make them your slaves.
Thank you for the Prime sub. Dude, we're 21 subs away from the sub goal. We might meet the sub goal today. I was like, nah, we don't. It's not gonna happen, right? But it's actually kind of happening. So thank you for everybody who's been so supportive this stream. Please subscribe so I can afford to move into a house that has better internet, please. Yeah, we hit the sub goal yesterday, which was awesome. So I'm not complaining at all. That's one of the reasons why today I'm like, we probably won't meet the sub goal today. We hit the sub goal yesterday. But people have been just so supportive. So I'm stoked about it. Everybody's been so nice.
This was the first ever sub 1520 in 16-star history. One new trick he and Aki were using was in Womp's Fortress, where he used
I'm doing
a
my
new
part on
setup
Patreon.
for
Hell
Conan
yeah.
list
I
called
appreciate it.
Texture setup that had been theorized years prior by
I appreciate the
Snowman.
Patreon support as well,
Instead
guys.
of using
The only reason I'm
soft
pushing
lawn
subs
setup,
today is because it's
Ouija just
September
lined up
and it's
Mario's feet
cheaper.
with a
That's the only
texture
reason
on the
why.
side of the plank and went for it.
Because
It
they're
wasn't
discounted.
as consistent as the normal setup, but it was faster and still more consistent than no setup at all.
Oh, we can pull games for the shuffler
Compromises
today,
like
by the
this
way, guys,
had
if you want to
be
do that.
made now that the remaining
I won't be
time
able
saves
to-
were disappearing.
So I won't be able to do the shuffler today, but we can pull the games today. So maybe I'll do one more ping on Discord, like last chance to submit games. Maybe I'll do that now, and then once this video is over, so 20 minutes from now, we'll pull the games, and then that'll be around the time that the race should be getting prepared for Jupiter versus Fire 1512. So I'll do one more ping at everyone. Last chance to suggest a game for the shuffler, pulling games on stream in 20 minutes. There we go. Yeah, let's let them know. Last chance. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
He gained
Shuffle up
some
that
time
shuffler.
over Aki with a cleaner lethal lava land, but lost some in Bowser in the Fire Sea. His BLJs were excellent, but he had a slight mistake
Those
at
were
the
some
end
clean
of Bowser in the
BLJs.
Sky. Although the run had some downfalls, it was
Ouija.
still a record by 5 seconds. Not to be outdone, Aki would fire back 6 months later with a 15-16. He messed up the triple jump in Hazy Maze Cave, and his Fire Sea had a slow ending. He made up the time over Ouija, however, with a faster Mips grab while standing, and cleaning up his mistake in Bowser in the Sky. He also threw Bowser a bit faster each time, saving a fraction of a second per throw. At this point, when the record was lowered, it was typically only by a second or maybe a few seconds at most. When records get as precise as 16-star, where players have done tens of thousands of runs each,
That's so many
taking
runs.
time off in big chunks was pretty much out of the question. But incredibly, just 3 weeks after his 15-16, Aki was in position to do just that.
Where are we at, actually?
As always, it came down to the BLJs.
436, not
No
bad.
pressure.
Ooh, those were sick. Ooh, those were not as clean. Definitely not as clean.
This was it. An unbelievable chance to make history. He just had to make it through Bowser in the Sky, hit all 3 of the throws, and he'd be golden.
Uh-oh. I don't like this music playing in the background. Summoning Salt, what are you trying to say? He doesn't miss a throw, does he? Oh, didn't. No, never mind. Nice.
マジかよこれマジで俺やったぞやったーこれやべえおいみんなこれやべえぞ
The games are going to be picked at random, so whether or not I suffer is random. So I'm cool with that.
A 1508 was the largest cut off the record in more than 3.5 years.
We'll just let it be
A
random.
near perfect run from start to finish. The mistakes in Hazy Maze Cave and Fire Sea were cleaned up, and his movement overall was optimized for time saves too. As you'd expect, this run stayed at the top of the leaderboard for a long time. 6 months later, it was still in first.
Did anybody suggest Air Guys for PS1? The Final Fantasy fighting game shitty thing? I hope that's in there. That'd be funny.
Second place was 8 seconds behind. Nobody was getting close to it. To have a realistic chance at beating this, you'd need new strats.
New
The
strats.
old ones had just about completely been optimized. As good as Aki was, it would help
Saw
to
Contra.
change his approach if he wanted to take the record under 1508. So, as 2019 came around, he looked into what else he could do to save time. First, there was Cannonless. Texture setup was great, but it lost a few seconds over just running at the wall and praying.
Bro, they just brought it back.
So, Aki decided that he needed to give up the consistency of the setup and go back to normal Cannonless.
Return to Monkey. No
the
setup.
Same awful, brutal trick that killed 2/3 of all runs years prior. This was obviously a really tough move, but the run was getting so optimized that it was worth it. Second, Aki went for a faster setup for Pillarless. Developed by Tama, you would do the jump dive on the hill instead of going over the top. This enabled you to get hands-free quicker, and allow the trick to begin sooner than before. With these setups in mind, Aki kept doing attempts. On May 10th, the new time saves helped him be 6 seconds ahead of the record early. He would bleed some of this time in Fire Sea, but good BLJs kept him well ahead. 3 Bowser throws later, Aki had done it.
Dude,
again.
only 80 BPM on your heart rate? That's nothing.
えい世界じゃあ次14
Bro,
ぞ
calm as ever getting a world goddamn record. It bumped up to 85? That's
Incredibly,
nothing.
This record put Aki 12 seconds ahead of anyone else on the leaderboard.
Sheesh.
And he didn't stop there. He kept doing attempts for a lower record. He even had paces multiple seconds ahead of the 1504. But every time, something would kill it. But in late 2019, Aki would finally get some competition at the top of the leaderboard.
I was on speedrun it.
And this particular runner...
It's not about speedrunning. The goal is I'm going to be playing each game. Like, I'm just going to play the retro shuffler for 8 hours and see what happens, right? However far we get in each game is however far we get in each game, right? We'll probably take some breaks. Like, if I'm able to finish even one of the games, I think it'll be a miracle. But at this point, I've given up on the hope of actually, like, beating any of those games. Does that make sense? So we'll see.
certainly had credentials.
So
He
post
was
anything
both
you
a
want, and I'll
0
just
star
play it.
And 1-star.
I doubt we'll finish a game.
He was one of the best in the world at optimizing fast movement. And his name was Dowski.
Oh. Oh, look at that man.
Dowski had previously held the 16-star record before, getting a 15-16 the day before Aki got his incredible 1508.
Bro, that
However,
sucks.
this time he wanted something more. A record that would last for a while. Even though his personal
It's sub-hour
best
if you
was a
don't
few
die.
seconds behind Aki,
We'll see what happens.
he knew he had the skill to keep up with him. So, Dowski's record attempts began.
So you're saying there's a
And on November
chance.
17th, he got on a run that fell behind early thanks to missing Cannonless on the first try. However, he more than made up that time with a faster Fire Sea, including a different strategy at the end where he avoided jumping on the edge of the stage. He had a 4-second lead over the record. This actually had sub-15 potential.
Oh, shoot.
But as always, The BLJs stood in the way.
Okay, not the worst start. Definitely not instant, though. Oh, shit. That was pretty good.
They weren't great, but his best possible time was still 1 second ahead of the record. If he could tear through the stage, he'd have a chance.
I don't think I got it.
Oh.
As it turns out, it would be record by just over a tenth of a second.
Bro, that's
For
insane.
the first time in a year, Aki was no longer the record holder. With so many times
So
being set in
close.
short succession, 16 star as a category was flourishing. There was really only one problem. At this point, it had been almost 2 years since someone with a funny username had set a record. In recent months there had been Aki and Dowski, but to get a good one, you have to go back to Ouija and his 1517, and even that one's not amazing compared to the likes of 420 Blaze It and Shivering Erotic King Banana.
Yo.
Well, in early 2020, someone wanted to rectify that. He started moving up on the leaderboards, going from 5th to 3rd place right behind the two 1504s. And shortly thereafter, he would end up taking the top spot. And the runner's name certainly didn't disappoint. On February 27th, a 1503 was achieved by Slippery Nip.
Let's go, Slip.
He gained time early thanks to a faster LBLJ, and managed to match Dowski's speed in making the Tsukishima cycle on the platforms. In Womp's Fortress, he gained time by hitting cannonless first try, partially thanks to a setup by Salt and Ginger to adjust the camera and clip in the wall more consistently. He maintained this 4-second lead until the second MIPS clip, which took him 2 tries,
What?
but gained about a second back on the BLJs.
Oh my god.
That worked out to a 1503, just ahead of Dowski and enough to make Slippery Nip the new record holder. The community was beginning to approach a barrier. They were now just 4 seconds away from a sub 15-minute run.
That's
the last
insane.
time a minute barrier had been broken was almost 9 years prior, with Akira's 1554. Now, a run in the 14s was seeming inevitable. But what time saves were left? Well, looking at the 1503 record, the big potential time saves were the 4 seconds lost due to the MIPS clip, and a few seconds that could be saved on the BLJs. But beyond that, there were still fractions of a second to squeeze out all over. On LBLJ, Lethal Lava Land, Bowser in the Sky, all from
That's where
subtle,
speedruns
faster
always end up.
strategies or improving movement.
You just improve
Those
by like
time
quarter
saves
of a
all
second.
added up
Yep.
to a run well under 15 minutes.
Yep. You just
But
have to get all the
someone
tiny
still had
time
to take
saves.
it there.
Yep.
And one player who would make
That's
a
how it
big
goes.
push was Aki. After getting a 1503 of his own, Aki would get a very promising run going on May 1st, 2020. It was about even going into the MIPS clips, where he messed up the first one instead of the second one. Still, a strong Fire C and BLJs kept him just ahead going into Bowser in the Sky. And there, he was able to make a faster elevator cycle called Monamo cycle by making his
Monamo?
movement as tight as possible, including an incredible triple jump dive onto the platform. 3 throws later, Aki was so close to a sub 15.
174, dude. Your heart's gonna explode.
なあ、マジで
1 more second to go.
Damn.
Aki pushed on.
Gotta head to bed. No worries, Audrey. Have a good night, man.
Getting great runs on pace that eventually died to something. The biggest culprit, of course, were the BLJs. Getting Mario to catch on the stairs seemed almost random at times. If you didn't get him to
Chimichanga's nice.
catch within a few jumps, it was run over, and even making it through would usually result in losing time.
Damn.
But Aki knew sub 15 was within reach. He just needed one good run past the BLJs. And on May 10th, 2020, Aki had this run. It was about as close to a perfect run as you could get. Chances like this don't come along very often. Now, more than ever, the BLJs needed to happen. They didn't need to be very
Who had the
good.
idea of the Muramasa grind? I
needed
don't remember who
something
came up with
decent.
it, but I said I would do it for a sub goal, and we hit the sub goal. So we're getting there. We're at 440 attack power out of 999. We've gone up 40 points just from today's
you could get
grind.
near
So
perfect BLJs.
we've gone up a
This was
lot
his chance
already.
for the run of a lifetime. Here we go.
Somebody could do the math to see how close we are from 440. Oh, back when I need to cut 1 second from the record. I do remember that now. Yeah, we talked about it. And then the Muramasa percent changed the RNG in my to make it easier. There it is, baby. Yatta.
By the skin of his teeth, Aki had pulled out a 1459.
Damn.
The world's first sub 15. Obviously, as good as it was, this run still had some room for improvement. He lost 6 seconds on the last split for mistakes in Bowser in the Sky. But still, that was it.
How long has today's grind been? It's been like
It was an incredible run.
2
up until
hours.
then, and it was daunting to try and
We've
beat.
been doing this for about 2 hours. We've
For the
watched 2
next
summoning
several
salt videos
months,
at the
there
very
was
least.
little action at the top of the
Maybe an
leaderboard.
hour and a half.
The top 3 stayed in the same spots, and 2021 came around with just Aki in the elusive sub 15 club. See this guy down here? This is Kano, and he was 6th place in the world with a 1517. He was considered an elite runner of the game, but generally not considered a world record contender. 18 seconds was a lot of difference for a short category like 16 star, and there were several people between him and the
Yeah,
top
summoning
spot.
salt videos are my measurement of time
Well,
now.
in
Exactly.
February 2021, Kano started up a stream on Twitch, and he decided that he wasn't going to end this stream until he set a 16-star world record.
That's
He wasn't going to
insane.
be playing all the time. He'd still live his life and sleep on a
Stream
normal schedule.
Unlimited. What a
His
badass
stream would stay
game
live
or
the
stream idea.
entire time. He knew he'd have to do some work given how far he was from the record.
Stream
But Kano didn't
Unlimited.
care. He wanted to be the record holder.
Dude,
So,
I should do Stream
he got to
Unlimited
work.
for the Muramasa grind.
Life went on, and Kano kept streaming 16-star. By March, his time was down to 1513. By April, it was 1507. His stream kept going. He was improving his skills and getting close to a record level. By May, he was starting to get really close, entering the top 3 with a 1503. All the while, the length of the stream climbed higher and higher, going past 1,000 and then past 2,000 hours,
Jeez.
until finally, on June
I'm sitting
12th,
here thinking my
2021,
100-hour grind is bad.
Kano
He streamed
had
for
this
2,000 hours.
He actually gained some time early thanks to a new strategy in shifting Sandland by Circle Mark 994, but lost a bit on MIPS from slower setups for the clips.
Ever
He
looked
bled
bored
a
on
bit
stream?
more in Firesea from an
I'm not necessarily bored. It's just that like I can't have the same energy levels if I stream for a long period of time. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not bored. I mean, I'm enjoying the summoning salt videos. It is a happy opportunity to watch some videos that are really, really great. But yeah. Oh, this video is almost over too.
accidental ground pound, and his BLJs weren't as clean as Aki's, but he knew the time he could save in Bowser in the Sky.
Just look bored. I'm just
After a
tired.
clean stage,
I also
3
haven't showered
throws
in like 2
separated
days because
him
of
from the record.
we've had some water issues because of the hurricane. I should be able to shower tonight though, which is nice if everything goes well. So I just don't feel great because of that.
What? Yes!
We have a goal in mind. I don't see this as necessarily torturous. Bruh. When you nut and she keeps sucking.
Oh my god!
More than 3,000 hours of streaming finally put behind him.
God, 3,000
Kano
hours.
went from 6th to 1st, a 15-17 to a 14-58.
This is Muramasa to
An
999
unbelievable
challenge,
push
yes.
That paid off in the end.
We are currently
And Kano
12 hours
could
in.
fin-
Very much nice. Thank you, W. Yep, we're almost 12 hours in, and the Muramasa's at 442 total attack power.
finally hit the end stream button. As the summer of 2021 went on, a few people were going for a sub 1458. One of the most notable players was Ouija. He had set a record 3 years prior with a 1517, but hadn't been able to replicate it. Still, he was considered a top runner. For years, he would continue lowering his personal best, staying within seconds of the record at all times. However, he never was able to take that top spot again, despite coming close on several
Dylan
occasions.
B.
At least
Perry, thank you for the
until
raid.
July 4th.
Okay, let me explain what's going on for all the raiders. First of all, hello everybody. I am currently doing a very stupid idea that I came up with a long time ago, where the idea is to get this weapon, the Muramasa, to its max power, which is 999 attack. I'm currently at 442 out of 999. The way that I'm doing this is by constantly drawing blood from these dark octopus monsters, and by doing that, I'm just throwing daggers at them so they bleed. I'm manually pressing the button every single time, so we're just basically button mashing. And we've been doing this for about 12 hours in-game time, probably close to like 15 hours real time. And just to make the grind a little bit nicer, because it's going to take close to 100 hours, I'm just playing some Summoning Salt videos in the background, and we're vibing. So feel free to hang out, chill, maybe drop a follow if you want to watch more Symphony of the Night or Castlevania or just speedrunning content.
2021.
It's dedication. Well, we reached the sub goal, so I decided I would do it. Speaking of sub goals, we do have another one that is pretty close, 21 subs away from it. So I'm very dedicated to my sub goals, is what I will say to that. And today is the last day to reach the sub goal. I'm not gonna do any more sub goals after September is over. At least not for a little while.
After 39 months, thousands of attempts, and numerous personal bests in the top 5, Ouija had finally done it again. He had beaten all the rest, and had taken back the world record.
I didn't.
No.
No, I didn't get it.
Fuck. I forgot about this, dude, where he jumped the wrong way.
When Ouija stopped to scroll through the text boxes, Mario was facing away from the star. All he had to do was turn around and jump into the star, but he accidentally jumped forward and lost about a second.
Oh,
It cost him the record.
that's so sad.
To this day, he's still trying to get it back. But that's not the last run to talk about, because in August 2021, a runner would come back to snag one final record.
Very peepo sad indeed. Also, once this video is over, we're gonna pull for our retro shuffler the 5 games that we're doing for the retro shuffler, which was the last sub goal that we met yesterday. So play someone with one hand. I could probably play someone one-handed pretty okay. Depending on the controller, I could probably do it. Yeah, this song is just perfect. Tournament races this weekend? Yes.
So,
I'm going to
was the
start doing
runner?
tournament races, probably
Well,
starting
it
tomorrow
wasn't
now that I
Luigi.
know that my internet
It
is
wasn't Aki,
working just
Bowski,
fine.
or Kyle.
Well, working, quote unquote.
There's only one username it could have been.
Let's go slippery nip. The world record's a decent amount lower now, right? It's been lowered a few times since this video came out. Right?
If you enjoyed the video,
speedrun.com. Have I played Vagrant Story before? It sounds familiar, but I don't think so. Super Mario 64. What's 16 star at? Oh, yeah. It dropped like another... oh, my God. Wait, what did...
well...
This video, back in August of 2021, it was at 1456, and it's all the way down to 1443. Over 13 seconds of time save in a matter of a year. Jeez, that's crazy. That's so much time save. Bro. That's wild. And that was a month ago. Yeah, it's like a Square Enix RPG. Last chance. If you want to suggest some games, I'm going to have to... It's going to take me a while to collect all these games. Oh my God, you guys put so many fucking games in this list. All right. I'm going to start collecting the games. In the meantime, I'll put on another... Hopefully like a shorter Summoning Salt video. Does he have a short one? Does he have any short videos? He has his 1 million sub video. Yo, perfect. Frap Snowland. We're going to put this on in the background while I set up the... I'm going to set up the Retro Shuffler, okay? Where's the list? It's on Discord right now. It's under the BizHawk Shuffler game suggestions in my Discord.
Mario Kart 64 has a reputation of being pretty broken. It's one of the most fun games on the Nintendo 64 for sure, but its courses have been abused and exploited much more than the average racing game. We've already seen this on Choco Mountain, but it turns out that's not the only course that speedrunners have destroyed. Frap Snowland has become infamous for its
I'll be right back, guys.
over the years. Its world record is coveted, with racers battling for the fastest time both with and without shortcuts. So today, let's take a look at how those world records have been lowered. Let's take a look at the most broken track in the most broken Mario Kart game. The first thing to understand about Mario Kart 64 speedruns are the different categories. To complete a time trial of a track, you have to drive around it 3 times. However, speedrunners also compete to see who can drive a single lap of a track the fastest. So, 2 big categories are whether or not a speedrunner is trying for a 3-lap record, where they drive around the whole course 3 times, or a flap record, short for fast lap, where they just do the 1 lap. And within each of those categories are 2 more categories, shortcut and non-shortcut. A shortcut in Mario Kart 64 is generally described as doing anything that the developers probably didn't intend for you to do to save time. So something like going through the tunnel in Koopa Troopa Beach isn't a shortcut, but launching yourself with Yoshi far off to the left so Lakitu gets confused and places you diagonally backwards at the finish line to skip a lap is considered a shortcut. Yes, that is a real shortcut in this game. So, those are the 4 categories of Frap Snowland time trials. Shortcut 3-lap, non-shortcut 3-lap, shortcut flap, and non-shortcut flap. We're going to start with non-shortcut flap. The goal here? Simply drive 1 lap around Frap Snowland as fast as possible. The early history of world records in Mario Kart 64 isn't easy to show off, mainly because there's not video for a lot of them. Fortunately, the website mkwrs.com has compiled a list of world records over time, so we know what the record probably was. But back then, the proof needed to claim a world record was different. It was difficult to post videos on the internet, so people would post their times in old Yahoo group posts or simply through emailing others. It operated off a system of trust and respect, so if you were a respected member of your community, your times would usually be respected too. Anyway, the Frapp Snowland non-shortcut flap record was lowered down by a few seconds by a handful of American and Canadian players, but then a guy named Penev just destroyed the record. See, the NTSC version, which came out in North America and a few other places, runs at 30 frames per second, while the PAL version runs at 25 frames per second. So the PAL version is essentially running in
real quick, guys. This is gonna take a hot second. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm just gonna be copying the games over into what is it? Picker wheel. Let me save this. There we go. Okay, perfect. Sweet. So, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be adding games onto this website, into the wheel, and this is going to take a hot minute. So let's go ahead and vibe while we do that, because there's so many games. I'm going to do zero duplicates, by the way. I'm looking for more of a vibe here, please. Thank you. Big vibes. Been here for 3 months, didn't notice the earrings. Yeah, I've stretched ears. They are stretched. They are completely hollow in there. All right, let's do it. Starting at the very top. I'll try not to do any duplicates. Super Ghouls and Ghosts? Fucking Contra? You just want to see me suffer. Castlevania 64? Where's Waldo? I don't know what the fuck Life Force is, but that's a game, I guess. Astro Boy Omega Factor? Never heard of that shit before. Vampire Hunter D's nuts. Megman. I love Megman. What in the fuck is... That's a lot of Japanese that I don't understand. Pilot Wing 64. Comic Zone. Dude, there's so many games. We're already at 26 games and we're not even halfway there. Holy shit. Sonic 2. Alright. Gunstar Heroes. Gunstar Superheroes GBA. Okay, cool. Yo, Toy Story 2. That game is sick. Crash Nitro Kart, but the GBA version? Okay. Panzer Bandit. Never heard of that. Legends of Dragoon. Okay, cool. I guess we're playing some RPGs, maybe. Castlevania Bloodlines. It was just a matter of time before somebody put that in there. Earthworm Jim. Final Fantasy V. Okay. I'm down to play Final Fantasy V for an hour and get nowhere, I guess. Chrono Cross. Same. You guys are really into JRPGs. I feel like a JRPG is going to be Not so interesting, but whatever. TMNT. Kirby Crystal Shards. Spyro. You're the Dragon. Siphon Filter. Lost Vikings. X4. Super Metroid. Okay. Sonic 3 and Knuckles. What the fuck is Zoop? Zoop for the SNES? Alright, that's a game apparently. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Again, I'm doing 0 duplicates. Each game only has one chance to possibly win. Michael Jordan Chaos in Windy City SNES. What the fuck is that game? ActRaiser? You guys are going to make me play ActRaiser. Y'all are messed up. Mega Man Soccer. Bro, Shaq Fu. That's evil. Ape Escape. I'm only pulling the... I said 2 games per person, so I'm only pulling the first 2 from everybody's suggestions, by the way, if you did multiple. Y'all should have read the prompt. There's a reason I gave everybody only 2 options. Yo. Oh, dude, I thought we were going to get 69. Dreamcast isn't an option. Toy Commander is not an option. Unfortunately. Yo, Toy Commander is a sick game, but Dreamcast does not work for BizHawk. So we actually have 69 total games. Holy shit. Guys, these are games that work on BizHawk. Hold on, let me pull it up. Specifically BizHawk 2.02, but if I just go to... I think if I just go to BizHawk. Supported platforms. NES, Super Nintendo, N64, Virtual Boy, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo's DS, Sony PlayStation, Sega Master System, Game Gear, SG-1000, Genesis, Sega CD, Sega Saturn, PC Engine, Atari, ColecoVision, Neo Geo, WonderSwan, Apple, Mattel, blah, blah. There is no Sega Dreamcast on here. Sega Saturn, yes, but no Dreamcast. That's as high as it goes. Someone picked Harry Potter for PS1. Unfortunately, no. You had the option to. I pinged the Discord multiple times. That's what you get for not being in the Discord. But it's fun. It's time. It is time to spin the wheel. We have 69 total games that you submitted in my Discord. I'm going to be playing 5 of these all at the same time using the BizHawk Shuffler. Let's pull which games at random we are going to be playing. We are only playing 5 games. So let's see. Our first game out of 69. Boy, it's spinning. Shattered Hand for the NES. Let's freaking go. That's game number 1. Don't worry, someone's writing these down somewhere, I'm sure. I don't think I've ever even heard of that game. Castlevania 64! We had 69 options, and one of them had to be Castlevania 64. All right, perfect. I'm loving this. Spin it again. Where is it going to stop? Nobody knows. Except for Karnov. I don't even know what that is. Is that Karnov's Revenge? Isn't that a fighting game? Or is Karnov a separate game? We'll find out later because I don't even know, man. Spin it again. How am I going to play Karnov's Revenge for an hour? That's so much time to play a shitty fighting game. Mega Man X4, that's a good video game. What? Yo, X4? Sick. All right. At least we have one good video game. We literally only have one good video game. What's it going to be for our final game? Mega Man 2. That's 5 games, right? We have Karnov. We have Castlevania 64. We have Shattered Hand. We have Mega Man X4. And we have Mega Man 2. 2 Mega Man games. Crazy. What the fuck is Karnov? It's an arcade game? What in the... Bruh. What? I'm sorry, hold on. You're telling me I have to play this? Oh, God. At least we got 2 Mega Man games. We got 2 Mega Man games. Castlevania 64, Shattered Hand, which also, what the fuck is Shattered Hand? Oh, shit, this game's pretty sick if I remember correctly. All right, sick. So it looks like we have some decent games. Not bad. We got Mega Man 2, Shattered Hand, Karnov for NES. We got Mega Man X4 and Castlevania 64. So honestly, there are way worse spreads of games it could have been. So we will be doing this at some point in the future. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're going to fast forward to that point right now. All right, that's the YouTube intro. I'll cut that down because that was way too fucking long. Bro, this is going to be wild. All right, well, there's 4 games picked. Hey, what's this, though? Yo, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. You guys remember Soden? Any Sodeners in the chat? Oh, remember... Yo, Summoning Salt?
Motion.
Poggers.
He played at about 5/6 the speed of the NTSC version. This meant that an equivalent time between
right back to the
NTSC
grind.
and PAL would be about 17% slower on PAL.
I should probably save,
So,
actually.
To compensate for this, the combined leaderboard system was made, which balanced times between NTSC and PAL. So regardless of the version you played on, your time would be...
You toss the games in a Discord chat? All right, bet.
Whatever time you submitted would be submitted with 2 times, an NTSC time and a PAL time that was 17% slower. Playing on PAL is generally regarded as being
I'll pin the
easier
message.
since you're playing in slightly slow motion. So for simplicity's sake, I'll be referring to all times as their PAL equivalent. By the turn of the century, the PAL time had gotten down to 39 seconds before Mike S set the first...
We made it to 4:43 today. That's not bad. We're making good progress. We have an hour left before the race, so this is going to be our last hour. Let's find a Summoning Salt video that's about an hour long. And then that'll be our final one. Mario Kart Wii does sound cool. We can do Contra. The quest to beat Matt Turk. This is a fucking legendary video, and it's about exactly an hour long. Let's do it. By the time this video is over, I won't pause at all. We should be ready for our race to watch.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Dozens of players from all over the world competed with each other to set the fastest times they could.
Banger video, yep.
14 fighters, tracked with the in-game timer displayed during and after the fight. It was a thriving community. These guys sent emails back and forth detailing
emails,
posting on old websites like Game FAQs, and kept track of their fastest times using online leaderboards. There was a really fun mix of randomness and skill involved. New strategies for faster times were regularly found, keeping the game fresh and encouraging others to see just what they could discover. For years, Punch-Out remained as one of the most popular speedrun communities in the world. But by the mid-2000s, competition slowed down. People kinda just stopped playing the game, and in a matter of months, one of the most played speedruns out there suddenly lost all of its competition, and silently faded into the background while other games took its spot.
As someone who still uses
By
Game FAQs,
2008,
I still go to look up stuff on Game FAQs all the time. If I need to
But then,
look up stuff on
in
Game FAQs,
2010,
that is.
a player known as Sinister1 became the first player to speedrun.
Let's go
the game in
Sinister1.
years. What he found was a deserted community. The Game FAQs pages with strategy discussion had been deleted. Emails sent back and forth had long been forgotten.
No.
Pretty much all that remained was a website called Red Tom's Punch-Out, with a leaderboard that showed what the world record was for each of the 14 fights. Sinister1 was shocked by what he saw here. All 14 records were held by the same guy, a person named Matt Turk. None of them had any videos for proof, and it was hard to even find evidence on how Turk did each of these fights. After finding Matt Turk's email address and talking with him a bit, Sinister realized a couple of things. First, all signs pointed to every single one of these records being legitimate.
Yo.
And second, Matt Turk's skill level was way beyond any other player in the world, and there was pretty much no hope in anybody else beating some of them.
Been watching the Castlevania vids on YouTube the last week, so checking out the stream. Welcome. If you're curious what we're doing a challenge run to get the Muramasa Bloodblade, Bloodthirsty Sword, to level 999. It's currently at level 444. We're 12 hours into the run. That's why we're watching Summoning Salt in the corner, because this is a 100-ish hour grind. Also, in an hour, we're going to be watching a really big randomizer tournament race. So feel free to get comfy, hang out, vibe out with us. If you have any questions, let me know.
Proof to go with them, but especially given when they were
But feel free to get comfy.
That doesn't mean it didn't happen. Hardly anybody was uploading speedruns to the internet in the early 2000s. Turk did, however, write down some of his strategies in detail on Red Tom's Punch-Out site, explaining how he achieved many of his times.
Sex and nudity policy? Is this new? Is this recent update? Recent drama? New drama just dropped?
In my opinion, it's very likely.
Link the tweet. I want to see it.
Times legitimately. But to understand how good they were, we'll have to first understand the basics of the game. Punch-Out mainly involves dodging out of the way of your opponent's punches and hitting them with your own punches courtesy of the fists of Little Mac. Punching your opponent lowers their health bar and can eventually lead to a knockdown. 3 knockdowns in one round is a TKO, which will end the fight.
Because I saw it was the cursing is what got it age restricted.
Where they don't get up after Mario the referee counts to 10 and the fight ends. So, Turk achieved these 14 times from either TKOing or KOing each fighter. We'll break down how he did them later, but for Sinister 1 to beat or tie most of them seemed out of the question.
All right, we got to check this out. We got to see this. Hold on. Oops. I got to see this. I appealed the age restriction just to see if it would work. Of course, the appeal was denied. Now they're telling me it's violating their sex and nudity policy. It's a Mega Man 2 video. Wow. Wow. Bro. YouTube, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are they doing, dude?
Thankfully, though,
God, that's so frustrating.
Freebies that anybody watching this could match with a little bit of practice.
That's insane.
Glass Joe and Don Flamenco.
YouTube, what the fuck are you doing? Get this man a partner manager or something.
Glass Joe is an infamously
like holy
easy
shit,
fight, and his world record is infamously easy to attain as well. His strategy,
bro, I'd be salty as well. They're trying to summon some salt.
A well-timed punch to the face upon him charging forward will knock him down in 42 seconds, where he won't be able to get up and the fight will end at 42.00. Punch-Out runs at 60 frames per second, and there's 2 frames to time this punch for Glass Joe to get knocked down and stay down at 42.00. This world record has been at 42.00 probably ever since the game came out in 1987. The second relatively easy record is on Don Flamenco, the 4th fight in the game, with a strategy discovered by Martin Charlebois in the late 90s. To tie this record, Sinister had to punch him, dodge out of the way, then wait and punch Don Flamenco in the face on the last frame before he would block the punch.
Dude, parents on YouTube are fucking gross. Am I crazy? Like,
or an uppercut that deals more damage.
Oh, if you're curious, okay. So what's going on with my heart situation? If you look, I'll just move this over here. So my hearts keep getting restored because I'm wearing the blood cloak. So every time I take damage, I receive hearts equal to the amount of damage I receive. Does that make sense? So I'm at 63 hearts right now. I'm going to take damage, and I got to 115. That's because I'm wearing the blood cloak. So I'm constantly refilling my hearts by taking damage. The rest of my equipment is also important. I'm wearing 2 duplicators to lower my intelligence. Same with walk armor, same with sunglasses. I want my intelligence to be as low as possible, so I'm doing as little amount of damage with the daggers as possible.
Punch does enough to automatically knock him down. He gets up, but upon dodging his punch and hitting him in the face 5 times, Don Flamenco goes down again and doesn't
Does it
get
get
up.
difficult annoying being a streamer
He'll be
when
at KO
throughout
at
the stream new people join and ask the
14.97
same question?
seconds.
For example, what is
A
my
world
schedule for
record
today?
that's been
Are there
tied
any
for
new
at
races?
least 2 decades.
I try and understand
Sinister tied
people
both of
where
those
they're at
records in
and
early
realize they just
2010.
don't know.
But
And like
after that, it was going to be a lot tougher.
it's up to me to like convey that knowledge or make it part of the title or something like that. Yes, it can be frustrating, but ultimately it's on me to convey that information to other people. That's all. I try and just realize that everybody's coming at it from like they're not trying to be malicious by asking questions. Now, if I feel like somebody is being malicious by being annoying, asking a bunch of questions that they should already know the answers to, and they're doing it specifically to try and annoy me, then yeah, I'll get frustrated. But other than that, you just gotta have to let it go, you know.
knock any down. No more freebies.
Looking forward to
Now,
the race though.
He had to practice and try to
Yeah.
improve his skills at the game.
The randomizer race should be a lot of fun. Send those subs during the race earlier. Oh, don't sweat it. I had my notifications off on purpose, just in case. You're all good, man. I appreciate the subs no matter what. The support means a lot.
Thankfully, though, he got some help later that year. A player known as Dr4gonBlitz was interested in the Hippo record, which was another one that Turk had reached the theoretical lowest time on, 37.61.
Yes, it's your fault I'm uninformed. You know, I try and look at it that way and try and be as helpful as I can.
King Hippo is a super random fighter.
But sometimes it does get
On any
annoying,
punch
yes.
He throws, he can either open his mouth or not. He has a 3 in 8 chance of opening on any given punch, and you can only hit Hippo when he opens his mouth. He needs to open his mouth 3 times in order for you to deal enough damage to beat him, so to get the fastest time possible, you need Hippo to open his mouth on each of the first 3 times he throws a punch. That's 3/8 times 3/8 times 3/8, or about 5.27%. But that's not all. Half the time, he also does a delay.
Today is the last day for the sub goal. That is correct, yes. And we are 21 subs away from it. If you want to see Wolf only Symphony of the Night challenge run / speed run, Wolf damage only, it's your last chance to try and unlock that. The only reason is because it's September, so subs and gifted subs are cheaper than they would be otherwise.
It ticks faster than a real second, with an in-game second being made up of about 20.
Nonetheless, I still appreciate all the support, even if we don't hit it. It's been crazy to see so many people be so supportive of the channel.
Only made certain decimals possible to
Thank you,
achieve
Matthias. Now we're only 20 away.
0.00,
And make them your
0.25,
slaves.
0.48, 0.61, 0.82, 0.97, and 0.99.
Who do you want to win in the race? Or rather, who do you want to compete against? Whoever wins is the better player on the given day. So I'm fine with racing Jupiter. I'm fine with racing Fire. I think for the sake of the storyline, most people want Jupiter to win. Lucifer, thank you for the 5.
And make them your slaves.
37.82.
You guys are really trying to
You have to hit Hippo on either the
hit the
first
sub
or
goal.
second
All right.
frame he opens his mouth on each punch.
I don't even know if
That is some
wolf
really
damage
precise
only is
line.
even possible, by the way.
Now, keep
There's a
in
good
mind,
chance that we just
even if you're
crash
able
and
to
burn and
execute
it doesn't
that
work, but I'm
precisely,
going to try
you only
my
have
hardest,
a 1 in
goddammit.
40 chance of getting the correct pattern from Hippo. Sinister One's fastest time was a 37.97, but in October 2010, Dr4gonBlitz came through and tied Turk's 37.61, which I mentioned before can't go lower at all. What's crazy is that even with all that randomness and
Cryo, thank you for the
execution,
2.
that was still considered one of Turk's easier records to match. With that, the Punch-Out community had managed to take down 3 of Turk's times. But these 3 all had something in common. Of Turk's 14 records, it was known that 4 of them were at their theoretical limit and couldn't be beaten, only tied. It had been known for years.
So it might be
he couldn't go
frustrating
under
for you to try it.
42.0
Yeah,
on
probably.
last
I'll
show.
probably get frustrated
Under
in some parts.
14.97 on Don Flamenco,
I try and take things
and under
lightheartedly, even when I get
37.61
frustrated.
on
I at least
Hippo.
try and make it
And
funny
all
or
3 of those
interesting.
times stand as the
I
world
don't like
records
being
even today.
known as just some
But for
guy who
most of
gets
their
angry
remaining
on stream.
fights,
I feel like
the
that's
limit
a
on how low
stream
things could
identity
go
that's
was
very toxic.
Turk's times were incredible, but for most
Like, I don't
it
mind
was at
being the
least
butt of the joke
theoretically
on my own
possible to
stream,
take
but I
the
do
decimal
mind it
forward.
when it turns
But
into
in
my
order to do
identity as
that,
I am just
you
a
would need to
mad
either
person.
beat Turk's
That's something I don't
execution
want to be.
or get better luck, or both.
Because the streamers that I know that make that their personality have a really hard time breaking out of that, and people are
Turk's
just
Sandman
absolutely
time was
brutal and toxic to them
220.00,
just to try and get a
the
reaction.
slowest of all 14 fights, but that doesn't mean it was his worst. You can't get star punches on Mr. Sandman to deal damage quickly, so even
Princess
beating him-
Ozaline, thank you for the
Make
Prime
them your
sub.
slaves.
We'll get into the actual strategy behind this fight soon, but in 2010, Sinister 1 was able to tie Turk's 220.
I feel like Tyler 1 gets away with it because, one, Tyler 1's very good at the game that he plays. Two, he's fucking jacked and massive, and if you met him in real life, he could literally rip your head off. So you wouldn't talk shit in real life. And three, he has a very large ego, or at least the persona of a very large ego on stream, such that he's able to shake off criticism by being like, fuck you, you little bitch-ass, shit-ass, fuck you. I'm not that kind of person, so I don't like the idea of people being incessantly mean to me because they want to poke a reaction out of me. I don't like that idea because I don't want to be mean back. I'd rather just ignore people who want to be toxic.
This fight from July 2013 shows his strategy to beat Mr. Sandman quickly.
Even Tyler 1 has calmed down. Exactly, yeah.
Punch-Out can be broken down into phases, with phase 1 being up until the boxer's first knockdown.
It's a character anyways. I think most people are very respectful of Tyler 1 at this point, and I don't think they're trying to... I'm thinking of, like, if you guys watched, like, old Caleb Hart streams before Caleb Hart was, you know...
You also get hit a couple of times.
Well known for a lot of other problematic things. His streams were very like problematic in a way where like people would go into his stream just to make him mad because he was known to rage so hard, and it honestly made me uncomfortable to watch a lot of the time. I just wanted to watch speedrunning videos, but I don't know. Mr. Lax, thank you so much for the 4 subs. I appreciate it.
Left up and left up really quickly in sequence to dodge the Dreamland Express.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, it just made me feel very uncomfortable to see like
18 times in a row to deal damage extremely quickly.
Well, worst one is Low Tier God, literally. Yeah, Low Tier God is like the pinnacle example of somebody who's only known as being like made fun of.
Express pattern if Little Mac gets knocked down at 159 or later into the fight.
Doesn't even matter if it's a character. That whole environment is the worst thing ever. Yeah. I think Tyler 1 is a different beast altogether. Yeah. Thank you for the tier 1 cold mage. 28 months, Jesus Christ.
You can end the fight
2-year streak, unbreakable. Yeah, I think Tyler 1 is like a completely different animal altogether. He yells, but it's not the same as like rage baiting. You know what I mean? Some streamers exist just to be rage baited, and I don't want to be that. That's just a miserable experience. And it feels like.
Oh my god! I can't believe that.
This time from Zallard tied Sinister's 219, but he could still save a second in phase 1 by
the
not
flying boss. Which boss are you talking about?
But adding all that luck up across all 3 phases got crazy. He needed neither of Sandman's phase 1 delays, the shortest delay for the first Dreamland Express, then a good health refill for Mr. Sandman for phase 3, and the short delay for his last Dreamland Express.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between like
3-4%.
Allowing yourself to be emotional on your stream and showing your true emotions versus like your personality being like, I rage hard at video games and that's my entire personality. You know what I mean? So I would hope that you guys can like laugh with me when the game is being absurd or when I'm doing really hard challenges. I just hope it never gets to the point where I'm being laughed at. That's when I'll just stop doing shit like that, even if it hurts my viewership, because I just don't have the patience.
This is it. I beat him at Turk's time.
At long last, one of Turk's times had actually...
Brian F has a good video on the topic. I probably have watched it at some point. I've watched so much Brian F content. It sounds familiar. Unless it's like super duper recent. I've been missing out on some of his uploads.
Not invincible for the first time since Sinister came onto the scene in 2010. It had taken 3 years for anybody to officially beat any of Turk's records. 4 times down, but Turk still had 10 records.
Grand Floon, how do you beat that with Wolf? You could probably Wolf charge off the left side. I also don't need to be Grand Floon to beat the game, so
50.97.
Grand Floon is an optional boss. So if it's not possible, we could just skip Grand Floon.
Record for Honda 2, which was 50.25 seconds. A tool-assisted speedrun.
Like, I'm not going to try and fight Galamoth with Wolf only. That would just be Wolf charging back and forth forever, and that'd be boring as shit.
Slowing down time, and even going frame by frame to enter inputs. 50.25.
Succubus isn't required to beat.
But a demonstration of the fastest time possible. And Turk was just frames away.
I imagine you could also fly up there, transform, and then bark midair.
Where you can fuse Piston Honda by tapping and releasing up at strategic.
If you rage a lot alone, you might chill out on stream.
It's extremely difficult, and at one
point
requires a
interesting to think about. Maybe
the face while his guard is in a
I definitely don't rage at off stream. That's for sure. I never put myself in situations like that. Easy J, thank you for the 10. Holy shit! All right, well I guess we're doing Wolf only. It was that easy, huh? I
so it
appreciate all the
stood
support, guys.
unrivaled with all of his other records.
As long as you have fun doing
Meanwhile,
it.
in the years
I think it's
following
fun to do
Sinister
dumb
International
challenges,
Punch-Out!,
and I think it makes for good
he had
content, so I'm
focused
okay
much
with
of
that.
his efforts playing single segments, where you play the game from start to
Yeah, what's up,
finish
Lord
and
Wrath?
add up
Hope
your
you're doing well.
times in each
Good
of
to
the
see you.
14 fights.
Could the bark stun
He
lock like a
streamed his
sword
attempts
swing?
live
On
his Twitch
Galamoth?
channel,
Probably not.
And people had gotten used to him speedrunning the full game. But then one day in August 2013, he just started up a stream of Piston Honda 2 world record attempts. Keep in mind, Turk's record is 50.97, and it was impossible to go under 50.25, so there wasn't much room to get a world record. At least, that's what everybody thought.
Yo. Until. And that's when he did this. Summoning Salt videos are just so
That's
good.
it. That's it.
He just
That's it.
knows how to
I just
pace
beat
things
fucking
well.
Taz. Oh my God, I'm
He just
start
knows how to
record.
like make good compilations.
Start more than I've ever held
Oh,
in
it's
my
so
life.
good.
Yes. Fuck yes.
The wolf
Fuck
would slide
yes.
down
Fuck
where?
yes. I just beat the Taz. I just beat the motherfucking Taz. Oh my God. It's gonna be a low 48. 48 flat.
Nice.
Oh my God, dude.
Is this the Muramasa content? You're looking at it.
I can't believe this.
We're
is
currently at
He had just
449.
beaten the theoretically perfect
We're about to hit
2
450
speedrun
total
by
attack
more than
power.
2 seconds. Sinister had just pulled off a fight with his own 2 hands faster than anybody had been able to even theoretically figure out with an emulator. What had just happened? Well, unknown to everyone watching his stream, a few days prior, someone had figured out how to beat that theoretical Piston Honda 2 record. His name was McHazard. And after
McHazard.
discovering it, he privately messaged
You're just
Sinister
thinking in
one to tell
general?
him
It
about
should
his
work,
findings.
yeah.
The main issue with the old tool assisted time was here in phase 2, where he had to wait a long time before throwing a star
Oh, you're
punch.
saying on Galamoth, yeah, the wolf would
Honda
slide
normally
down.
starts dodging any star punches you throw at him after the third one, but if you wait to throw it until he's doing his appropriately named eyebrow pattern, it'll land and deal damage. So, the tool assisted record had to stand still and wait until the eyebrow pattern began. McHazard figured out a way around that. He discovered that Piston Honda 2 has a bizarre mechanic that few other
The
fighters
sheer
can
meme
do.
power. I mean, we
Max
hit a
limit
sub goal,
uppercuts.
Black Quill,
When
so
Honda's guard is down, you can press up.
I'm a
and
man of
start
my
to
word
throw
when
a
it comes to
star
sub
punch
goals.
uppercut, then let go of up when Honda brings his gloves up. For
I
whatever
would never
reason,
disrespect
if you
y'all's
perform
time and
correctly,
money like that.
Then not only can Honda not dodge this punch, but it also deals more damage than a normal star punch.
We're also
So,
going to get back to
Sinister
running
simply implemented this max damage
my
star punch
tournament
when you
races
normally
soon,
be waiting for the
for
eyebrow
those that have been
pattern
waiting.
too, and
I
sends him
would
down about
obviously
5
needed to wait
seconds
for the
faster
hurricane to
than normal.
pass over to like
Over
know
the
that
following
I'll have
months,
internet and power and
McHazard
stuff
would
like that
broaden
before I
his search for
organized
faster
anything.
strategies to all 14 fights.
So
And
soon,
ultimately made a new, faster tool
we'll also
assisted
get grand
speedrun of
finals
entire
soon for the
game.
SGL tournament. So
It
I
featured
honestly could just wait
improvements
for
to
the
8
SGL
of the
tournament to
14
finish since I
fights.
am in
Including
finals.
8 fights now had new
Are we doing
theoretical low times that teammates could try to get closer
best of
to.
5? Does anybody even
For the
know what the
past few
format
years,
is for the SGL finals?
The only times of Turk that had been toppled were ones that were already theoretically perfect, or ones that were more obviously imperfect, like Mr. Sandman.
I honestly
With this
just
new
haven't been
tool
paying
assisted
attention. I've been so
speedrun,
busy.
The horizon expanded so much. McHazard had completely changed the playing field. It was time to see what
You got
else
below
his players
51
could do.
minutes on your first attempt. Nice. That's actually pretty decent.
The next big push to beat Matt Turk's times came during 1 week in April 2014, where 3 of Turk's records were about to go down. It's here we see just how important McHazard's task was going to be. Coincidentally though, the first one had nothing to do with his task. I mentioned before there was a 4th record Turk had set that was at its theoretical limit. That fight was Great Tiger, with his time of 47.48.
Dude, I should have
Remember
switched to
how
the
Bomb
Blitz
Tornado
box
has
like
that
as
frame
soon as I
perfect
started
punch to
doing
get
this
a start?
grind. Like the Blitz box is
Well,
so much
Great
more comfortable than
Tiger
playing on
has
Xbox
4.
controller.
After punching Tiger in the face, you dodge out of the way of his jab, then wait until the last frame before he would block and punch him in the face. If you hit the perfect frame, then you get a star punch, before having to repeat this process 3 more times in the first phase.
If all you care about is watching me suffer and that's the only way you gain entertainment out of my stream, I
Great
will say
Tiger
that's a
gets up
little
on a 1
fucking
count
weird,
twice,
and I hope you
which means a single star punch
eventually
below
grow out of that
will send
mentality.
him down
But
automatically.
hey, thanks for being here in the
There's
meantime.
no randomness in this fight, and thanks to a couple of timing strategies Zalor discovered to time a couple of the punches late in phase 1, the only difficult part of the fight is the 4 face punches. But keep in mind, you have a
I plan on
1/6
doing
of a
Soden
second
crowd
to time
control
this
in the
fight.
future as well
Someone
anyways.
just had to
So
grind the fight out
happy
until they
Friday.
got
Indeed,
the 4
happy
frame
Friday.
perfect punches. And on April 5th, Zalor was able to pull it off. he got a 47.48, tying Matt Turk and the theoretical perfect time. Meanwhile, Sinister 1 was working on his own project. Matt Turk's Piston Honda 1 time of 42.97 was a bit of a mystery, since it was one of very few fights where he didn't reveal his strategy.
What's up, Bopo?
However, thanks to McHazard's new
Hope all
task,
is well. We're chilling.
Sinister was
We're having a
able
good
to come up
time.
with an even
We're
better
vibing,
one.
grinding out this Muramasa, waiting for the Jupiter race, Jupiter versus Fire race
Phase 1
to start.
was a variation of a strategy Sinister had discovered.
Thank you, Dave, for the
years
gifted.
prior, using heavy guard manipulation
and
to
make them
sneak in
your
punches
slaves.
all over
I appreciate all the
stars.
support today, guys. You guys have been amazing.
Key parts to this phase included landing a gut punch at the start with a 3-frame timing window, sneaking in an extra gut punch toward the end of the phase that had a 25% chance of going through, then
Really
not
need a
getting
new
blocked
controller
at
to mess
all
with
on the
Soden more.
last
Yeah,
phase
they're hard to
phase,
come by nowadays,
which is
yeah.
about 50%. Honda gets up
It's
on a
not
1
fun
count
playing
in
with
phase
controller
2,
issues, trust me.
so a single star punch was enough to send him down right away. At the start of phase 3,
It's just a joke.
Sinister
I don't
would do
like
a
to see you
max
suffer
damage
respect.
star punch
You-
similar to the ones McHazard found on Piston
But I prefer
Honda
to see you
2,
play. No
then
worries.
hit him in the face and do a couple of star punches.
Hey, I was just talking about it earlier.
With
Some
good health
people,
refill
I
from
think, get the
Honda,
wrong
it would
idea
be
about
enough to
why
get a
I
low
stream and why I
42
enjoy
second
streaming.
time
So
and beat Matt Turk
it's
by
not
just a
a bad
little.
idea. It's for me to
The odds of
reiterate
getting
my
this fight
opinions
were
on
under
certain things.
5% from random
But I'm
support,
glad you didn't take it
but not
personally.
taking
I didn't
into
take it
account
personally
the
either.
rather difficult execution. Nonetheless, Sinister very quickly got a run to phase 3, but unfortunately the bad refill from Honda meant he had to delay a couple of
Oh,
star
life be
punches
without
and get a
suffering? Okay,
43
Buddha.
42.
Oh, look at you. You're like the
I got
enlightened
that.
Buddha or whatever.
Yeah, 43 flat.
Oh, what's next? You're going to tell me to give up all worldly possessions?
I got that refill,
Boo.
Got the bad refill.
Sinister was getting really close. He was now just 0.03 of a second away from taking another Turk time down. All he needed was to get that good refill in phase 3. But then, quite literally out of nowhere.
Out of
this
nowhere. Oops.
Shouldn't I just quit right now? While I'm ahead? No, fuck that. Let's do the Von Kaiser IL strat. See if I can do it again. There we go.
He said, fuck this shit. I'm just going to get world record. God, Sinister is such
Holy
a gamer.
fucking shit, dude. I think I just did it. Oh my god.
God, Sinister is such a gamer.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh my god. 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 Oh my fucking god, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Age restricted. He invoked God too many times.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Summoning Salt. Your video is age restricted now.
Oh my fucking god, dude. Oh my god. How? How is this possible?
If you recall from before, 35.97 matched Turk's Von Kaiser time. Where did that come from? Well, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out has no level select, and you aren't allowed to use save states to get to whichever fight you want. There is a password system, but passwords only exist for a handful of the 14 fights. So the fastest way to get to Piston Honda was to start a new game and beat both Glass Joe and Von Kaiser before getting your one shot at Piston Honda. If it didn't work, you'd have to lose intentionally and then beat Von Kaiser again just to get another shot.
Is there a Muramasa max level world record? You're looking at it, buddy. We're on world record pace right now.
It happened to pay off. It involved precisely tapping up at certain moments to manipulate Von Kaiser's guard up so that all of the punches went through. He also had to get a random 50-50 star in phase 2, and very precisely duck under a punch in phase 1 and phase 3.
Yeah, during one of his Punch-Out record
also had to
videos, he
time
talked
the
about
first
himself
punch
because
in
he was
phase
part of the
2
world
on the
record
first
progression
fight
for,
also.
I think it was NES
In order
Punch-Out.
to get a 35.97, he had to lose no more than a handful of frames across all of those locations. And on literally his first attempt after getting the phase 1 strat to work, he got all of that. It was incredible.
Did you
And a
miss
couple of days
Shuffler?
after that,
We pulled the games for the Shuffler, but we're going to be playing them on a different day. I'll let you guys know when we do the Shuffler day. So,
Sinister was able to get his good refill on Honda 1.
yeah, we're 452 already. We're
This
doing
is it. This is it. This
we're
is
doing
it.
really
This
well
is
for
it.
this max level Muramasa
Turk,
run.
You are done. I got the 42. Fuck yeah. 0.2 fucking 5, baby. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Get hype.
Get
With that,
hype.
Over the course of 4 days,
What
thanks to
games?
the
It's in the
combined efforts of
Discord.
Sinister, Zallard, and McHazard, 3 of Turk's times went down.
I pinned it to the Discord
But of
channel.
course, Matt Turk still held 6 untied records.
We got
And the more
Karnov
they played,
NES, Mega
the
Man
more
2,
these 6 times seemed
Mega Man
ridiculously
X4,
Keep in mind that some of the game's top
Castlevania
players have been
64,
trying for 4
and
years now, and
what
they
was the
were
last
only able
one?
to match or beat about half of them.
Something Hand,
Let's take a look at Turk's Dawn Flamenco
Crazy
2
Hand,
time.
Master Hand. I don't remember.
123.97. This one was a bit of a unique case. Skill-wise, it was actually one of the easiest times in the game, but luck-wise, it was absolutely brutal.
I don't see a purpose in doing that, Black
See,
Quill.
The way Dawn 2 works is whenever he's about
I don't
to throw a
understand the
punch,
concept.
you can hit him while he's winding up either in the gut or in the face. On the first
Shatter
punch you
Hand.
throw,
Thank you. It's
and
called
every
Shatter Hand for
second
the
punch
NES.
After that, you'll get a guaranteed star. On every punch between, as long as you're holding a star, you have a 1 in 16 chance in getting another star. And believe me, that is horrible from a speedrunning perspective. For example, you can theoretically get 3 random stars in a row on Dawn 2, which would be great, but your odds in that are 1 in 4,096. His health refill in Phase 2 is also random. There's a 1 in 8 chance he gives the lowest health refill, a 3 in 8 chance he gives a middle refill, and a 4 in 8 chance he gives the bad refill. If you press select before the fight to lower your health to half, as speedrunners often do on this fight, that also makes his Phase 3 refill random, with just a 1 in 8 chance he gets up with the smallest amount of health. Why the programmers made Dawn 2 like this is unknown. It's not like anybody would pay attention to these random stars or refills when casually playing the game. But it leads to some pretty ridiculous fights if you get the luck. The tool-assisted speedrun of Dawn 2 gets 5 random stars and both of the low 1 in 8 refills, achieving a time of under a minute. The odds of getting those stars and refills is about 1 in 6.7 million. Turk's 123.97 was much slower, but Punch-Out players worked out that beating it still required odds of about 1 in 176. They would need a random star from one of the first 2 opportunities, then the middle 3 in 8 refill in Phase 2, then finally the 1 in 8 low refill in Phase 3.
The gear makes a big difference in this grind. Yeah.
And the guy who did
100%. There's a reason I went out of my way to grab all the gear near the start of the game.
He was speedrunning The Legend of Zelda, but he had also done some work in Punch-Out, and for some reason he gravitated toward fighting Dawn 2. And on May 28th, 2014, after hundreds of attempts,
there's a reason I went out of my way to grab this gear when I did. The double duplicator is a huge strat.
Fuck yeah. There we go. There we go.
The shuffler makes a save state every time it switches games, and then you resume from that save state. So it leaves you where you left off, so you don't lose progress.
Dawn 2 was
but it will shuffle you
another
between the
Turk's
games,
time
so I'm gonna
to
have to
find.
like constantly switch between
Matt Turk
games
still had 5
at random
times
intervals.
left. These remaining
Am I doing this
times
with a
had
hitbox?
stood
It's the Blitz
unbeaten
box,
for
so
more than
kind
half
of.
a decade.
It's a custom
In that same length of time, the
fighting
Ocarina
game
of Time
controller
had
that I
been
made.
lowered by 55 minutes. Super Metroid have been lowered by 5 minutes, and Super Mario Bros have been lowered by, well, 2 seconds. But the fact that even serious efforts from several of the world's top Punch-Out players hadn't been able to break these 5 times was just extraordinary. One of the most brutal times remaining was Turk's Bald Bull 1 fight.
I'll show you a
Featured
bald
a
bull.
combination of crazy luck, really precise timings, and the need for persistence. Turk said it took him over 1,000 attempts to achieve this time. Keep in mind, to get an attempt at Bald Bull, you have to put in the password for Dawn Flamenco 1, then beat him, King Hippo, and Great Tiger. So, it took him a really long time to get his 58.99. The way he did it was by simply attempting to replicate the tool-assisted fight as closely as he could, and it was a brutal strategy indeed. It involved needing 3 random 50-50 stars throughout the fight, 2 specific patterns from Bald Bull, and numerous frame-perfect or close-to-frame-perfect punches throughout.
Max level fairy? Are we at
The
max
odds
level
worked out
fairy
to just a
already? I don't think so.
2.3% chance,
Yeah, we're only at level
or about
91.
1 in 43. There's actually been some confusion over what Turk's exact time was, initially being reported as a 57.99, but years later being changed to a 58.99. But regardless, this time just seemed brutal to beat. And then McHazard came along and changed everything. In his tool-assisted speedrun, one of the 8 fights that McHazard improved was Bald Bull 1. And a few months later, Zallard used it to do attempts to beat Turk's 58.99. McHazard's Phase 1 was discovered by Martin Charlebois 15 years before his task came out. It involved alternating face punches to get stars and using star punches into his rolling jabs. It was easy, it had no randomness, and it always
The fairy
got
is here
pulled
to,
down
in
at
case I
17
die,
seconds
she'll use a
one
life
star.
apple so I don't lose my progress.
Phase 2 was a bit tougher. You need a 50-50 random star at the start of the phase, then land a 2-frame punch just as Bull is lowering his guard and get another random star just after. You then need a 25% pattern.
I have 2
where
life
Bull
apples,
throws
so in
no
case I
rolling
die,
jabs and can
I
send
have
him
2
down with 3
chances to make
stars
sure
in
I,
inventory.
you know, don't
For
actually
phase
lose that
3,
progress.
Zallard used a slightly safer version of McHazard's fight. To pull it off, you need the 75% pattern without rolling jabs, then depending on his pattern after, potentially need to land a frame-perfect star punch after his uppercut. That's a 1/60th of a second window to time it. Across all 3 phases, that works out to odds of about 1 in 21, about twice as good as Turk's fight, and the execution was a bit easier too. So, Zallard set out to improve Turk's time, and on June 22nd, 2014, he came through and got a 57.00, beating Turk by nearly a full second. Keep in mind though, McHazard's task time was 55.25, so although Turk was off of his task by about 0.15, Zallard was slower than his by almost 2 full seconds. That's how much McHazard's strat was able to help. For Bald Bolt 2, it was once again McHazard to the rescue. Turk achieved his time of 121.82 by landing extremely random punches called bulldozers. When Bull's guard is down, if you hit him in the face but let go of up while the punch is going off, it's possible the punch will get through his guard and hit him for a star. Problem is, when I say possible, I mean it has a 1 in 16 chance of actually going through.
I look
It was
bored?
possible to beat Matt
Yeah,
Turk's
it's because
time
I'm
using
thinking
2
about the
bulldozers
sex
and
I had
hitting
with
a
your mother.
specific pattern from Bull after,
What's up?
but
Yo,
the
Kung Fu
odds in it
Zombies, I'm
were
doing good.
over 1 in 1,000. So
We're
McHazard
vibing,
found a way around it.
grinding the
When
Muramasa.
Bull's guard is up, he found you can punch him in the gut and tap up while the punch is going off to potentially sneak the punch through his guard. It was called a misdirected gut punch, and you could do it whenever you'd normally do a bulldozer. And rather than a 1 in 16 chance in going through, the misdirected gut punch had a 1 in 4 chance. So instead of odds of over 1 in 1,000 of beating Turk's time, the odds were only about 1 in 64. That was enough to get Sinister to start grinding to beat it. The execution wasn't too hard. The 2 rolling jab counters at the start were the hardest part, and they each had a 3-frame window. On July 5th, 2014, Sinister One took down Matt Turk's 11th world record.
World record. World fucking record, dude. Yes. Fuck yes.
Fuck yes.
120.82.
Thanks to McHazard, both of the Bald Bull records went down in the span of about 2 weeks. Matt Turk now only
The
had 3
calculation for
untied
leveling up
records
the
to his name.
Muramasa is you
Soda
need to
Pop and
absorb
Super Macho
2
Man
times the
and
current
Mike
attack
Tyson.
level plus 11
These 3
total
records
blood
had stood the test of
absorbed
time. These
in
3
order to level it
records
up to
had
the next
stood
level.
through
So every time you
thousands of
level it up,
attempts
it
from
becomes
top
slightly
players
harder
in
to
the
level
league.
it up the next time.
These 3 records
About twice as
stood
hard.
head and shoulders above each of the other.
So it gets
11 records Matt Turk
exponentially.
had
Well,
set.
I guess it's technically not
To see
exponentially. It's
why,
like
let's take a
multiplicatively
look at that
more
Super
difficult
Macho
over time.
Man time.
How much
48,
damage? We're at 450 right now. 450 out of 999. Last we checked at the start of this, we were like 15%
So
of the way
good
done.
news
We're
about
probably
this
close to
fight.
like 20% of the
There's
way
a
done now.
password that you can put in that sends you straight there. That made it so you could do a lot of attempts.
It's 1 million total blood
The bad news,
absorbed.
The execution
It's like a
was
million
really
9,000
hard,
and like
and the
40
luck
or something
needed
like that.
was the worst of all 14.
A million
fights.
8,016.
Let's
Yeah.
break it down. Macho's usual pattern is to
Sigma
throw 5
2N
punches
plus
before
11, pretty much.
standing
Yeah.
Still for a while in the build up to his mini spin pattern, where he spins around quickly and
I'll
tries
show
to
you a
punch you.
Sigma. This
So
is
the
my
first
Sigma
5
grind
punches to
set.
fight, the first, second, fourth, and fifth
HD
punches
Dragon
all
Kaiser.
use
Steal
Turk's
men's
strategy
souls
work.
and make them your
Woo!
So,
slaves.
Thanks for the 2
Turk's
months.
strategy was
And thank
to
you for the
raise
sub.
his guard and punch him in the gut, then intercept his first uppercut with a punch to the face before he ducks
How do
down.
these octopus deal
His
22?
second uppercut is then taken care of by raising
I have 2 duplicators on, which means my defense is 0.
before he ducks down. Punches 3, 4, and 5 are cancelled before you can throw them by hitting him in the gut. Then Macho stands still for his mini spin pattern. Turk unleashed a barrage of max damage star punches and punches to the face and gut, all while moving his guard
Taking that much
around
damage
like
is also
Chris
intentional
Evans
because it
and
helps
Apollo
refill my
Creed
hearts faster.
punches.
Because the more damage I take from the octopuses, the more my hearts refill.
Macho needs to stand still for as long as possible, which is only about a 1 in 4 chance. So, altogether, not counting attempts missed for execution, there was just a 1 in 34 chance of getting out of the first phase of the fight. For phase 2, Macho once again needs to stand still long enough to sneak in enough punches and uppercuts, and 3 stars need to be in your inventory by the time Macho backs up. That bumps the odds up to just over 1 in 90.
Ugh.
The execution on sneaking each punch in also needs to be tight enough for the clock to not roll over to 37 seconds before beginning a spin pattern. And to give you an idea of how hard that execution is, these are the inputs that need to be done to sneak in all of those hits. Macho's guard is in transition, so you begin the phase by pressing up and B to throw a face punch but must release up while the punch is being thrown so Macho doesn't...
I have no clue. Black Quill.
The uppercut is done by pressing up and start but release.
I would guess max level Muramasa, if you do really fast short hop slices, should be faster since it's doing 2000-ish attack per jump.
Up, then immediately release it and throw a gut punch.
But the thing is the shield rod does about that more than that much damage every second, so you'd have to jump slash faster than 1 jump slash per second, so maybe it's possible. I don't know.
Then pressing B to throw the gut. That's a lot of inputs, and it's all performed right here at the start of phase 2.
That was a good incentive, just noticed it, yeah. It's gonna be a fun run.
Then, Macho backs up to go into a spin pattern. In Macho's spin pattern, he spins around between 3 and 8 times before stopping for you to land your star punch. The clock stays frozen this whole time, but in order to throw your star punch fast enough, you need to know when he stops instead of doing another dodge. The 2 ways to do this were, 1, to listen for the last spin punch, which is slightly higher pitched than all the rest. Or 2, stare at the clock, and then as soon as it starts moving again, throw the star
How much
punch.
fun was doing
Phase 3 is a
GDQ,
repeat
like
of phase 2,
meeting and talking to other
except
runners?
instead of needing the long
GDQ is a
delay
lot of
before
fun.
spin
I haven't
you
been to
need a short
GDQ
delay,
since
Macho
2020,
gets up with less health
so it's
per
been a
second
while.
time and doesn't need to be hit as much. That pushes the odds to about 1 in 181 in getting the
But it's
lucky
pretty
lead
fun.
to beat
I have
Macho
fun
in
at those
48
events.
seconds like Turk did. Not to mention the precise, tight, and essentially flawless execution needed the whole way through. So we're looking at odds of about 0.5%.
Would I mind re-explaining wolf damage only? It's just what it sounds like. I'm gonna beat the game while only doing damage with while in wolf form.
And he gets up.
So any damage I do is gonna be in wolf form.
Okay, star punch. And he's just like, nope.
In the middle of 2014, Zallard began doing attempts to beat Turk's 48.82. He was a veteran of the game at this point, so he saw results very quickly, getting times of 50 and 49 in July and August, respectively.
A lot of barking, yeah.
These fights both lost time in Phase 2 because the clock ticked over to 37 before the spin pattern, meaning his execution
I
was
mean,
a little too
are there
slow.
ones where good runners...
But hundreds of attempts later,
what the fuck are
that
you even saying?
48 was
But I
still
mean, if you are one of those
Zallard
good
realized
runners,
that
you do
tying
not
Turk's time would be hard
care,
enough,
do you?
But
What?
actually getting under a decimal of 0.82 was going to
Huh?
be essentially impossible unless he added in something that Turk didn't do. So
I
that's what he
I
decided
cannot
to do.
understand what you're trying to tell
He
me.
would
I'm so
assume
sorry.
that Macho would stop spinning on the 3rd spin punch of Phase 3, allowing him to throw the uppercut faster since he didn't have to.
Beelzebub will be tricky. I'm beating the game. I'm not beating all the bosses. Beelzebub is not a necessary boss. Beelzebub is an optional boss.
It made the luck needed even worse. Macho has just a 5 in 16 chance of stopping on the 3rd spin punch, so the odds of the entire fight were now over 1 in 500. Zallard streamed some of his attempts to beat Turk's time, but most of the attempts just looked like this. This 48.82 was legendary. Zallard threw attempt after attempt at Macho, but it wasn't happening. He had to hit punch after punch, be precise in every location, and wait for 1 in 500 odds. It didn't look like it was happening. And then, Zallard got this attempt past Phase 1.
Okay. Oh my god, at 25 with a star? That's fucking crazy. Fuck. Okay. because I got that 25 that saved it. Yes! Holy shit, dude! Oh my god, please. Tie it, tie it. Tie it.
As he sat there waiting for the time, he was praying that it was fast enough to tie Turk's .82. But he knew there was a slim chance he had gone even faster and gotten a .61. All he could do now was wait for the fade out and see the blue screen.
Holy shit! Oh my god. It's over. It's fucking over.
It's over.
You gotta be kidding me.
A 48.48. Turk's time wasn't tied. It wasn't edged out. It was thoroughly beaten by Zallard 1. 1 in 500 odds were defied, and Matt Turk now only had 2 untied records to his name. This 213 on Mike Tyson was, by a long shot, the hardest fight to pull off out of all 14. On Don Flamenco 1, Turk hit a frame-perfect punch. On Great Tiger, Turk had to land 4 frame-perfect punches. To get his 213 Tyson, Turk had to land 20 frame-perfect punches.
Oh. 20 frame-perfect punches.
Tyson's
Gross.
pattern is to throw uppercuts for the first minute and a half of the fight. You can hit him twice after each one. The first one deals 5 damage as long as it's from the same side of the screen that Tyson threw from, and the second one normally deals 1 damage no matter what. However, if you delay this second punch to the last frame before he would block it, it deals 5 damage instead of 1. That's a frame-perfect punch. You have a 60th of a second to time it. And for the first phase of the fight, literally all you're doing is landing frame-perfect punch after frame-perfect punch.
Oof. What a good video game. Why do people want to speedrun this again?
Tyson begins the fight with 96 health. Since he could deal 10 damage on each punch Tyson throws, that means Tyson must throw 10 punches for you to be able to send him down the first time, and you need to be frame perfect on 9 of them to get an optimal first knockdown. Even if you hit the 9 frame perfect punches though, Tyson's pattern largely determines what time you get. He can randomly delay for an in-game second between certain punches, or potentially
Same reason
even
they
do a
run
long delay called an
SM64?
8-second
No,
delay,
I
which
think
can
the
be
games are
multiple
incredibly
times.
different.
In
SM64 has
Turk's
much more
213,
variety of
he got a
movement,
pattern from Tyson
where a
where
game
he
like this
flat
where
out
it's like,
didn't
oh,
delay
the
at
only way to
all.
save time is
A
just do
pattern
20
that was
frame
only about
perfect
3.5%
singular inputs.
likely
It's a
and
completely
led to a
different kind of
first knockdown
speedrun.
time of 54 seconds.
Whereas Mario
For the
64, it's like you
second
can
phase,
constantly
he gets up with
upgrade, like
56 health.
do better
That means
angles,
6 punches from
time your
Tyson.
jumps better,
You
stuff
need to
like.
be
There's like
frame
multiple
perfect on
things you could do
5 of
better.
them.
Where in this, it's just
Tyson can
punch
give
better,
random delays
smile.
here too. So what's important is that you get Tyson to throw that 6th
Both boil down to
uppercut
get
before
good.
he switches his
No.
pattern from uppercuts to hooks at 130.
I disagree.
As long as the uppercut comes out before
It's much more
130,
nuanced than
it's
that.
all
I can
good.
understand why you
Even
come
if
to
the
that conclusion,
knockout
but I
comes a few
disagree.
seconds later, since you have to
I
punch
would
him
argue that there's more
Turk
interesting
got
things
one
you can
delay
get
from
better
Tyson in
at
phase
or
2,
get good at,
but
hence
thanks to his
why
perfect
I
phase
argue
1, it
Mario
led to a
64 is a more
blazing fast
valuable run to
128
learn
second
than like
knockdown.
punch out.
In phase 3, Tyson switches to throwing hooks.
And that's coming from somebody who
If you wait to the
doesn't
last
run
60th
either.
of a second before hitting him
So
after he
I
throws
could just
the
be
hook,
woefully
that
ignorant
single
on
punch
this,
will deal
but that's
5
fine, I
damage.
guess.
If you're early, you'll have to punch him twice for 4 damage total, and if you're late, you'll get blocked and deal no damage. These frame-perfect punches are generally regarded as tougher to hit than the uppercut ones.
My argument is
Tyson
like
gets up with
they are
40
different
health
because
for
you're
phase
getting
3,
good at different
so
things.
8
So just getting
frame-perfect
good
punches
is like
would
an
be a perfect phase
oversimplification.
3. Turk hit 6 frame-perfect punches and got a bit of a slow pattern from Tyson, but it was enough to set a world record of 213. This 213 stood apart from his other records in a way. Its legacy reached far past his other 13 times, and for years it was just this impossibly fast time that the top players couldn't even get close to. Not only did it land 20 frame-perfect punches, but the pattern he got from Tyson.
You guys
was
are just saying
ridiculous.
words and don't know what you're
He
talking
achieved
about.
this
It's
time in
crazy.
December 2007.
I mean, keep doing it, I
with
guess. I
knockdown
don't care.
times of 54, 128, and 213. As of mid
But feel free, I guess. I don't know.
Nobody else had ever gotten under 55.
I'm no
for the
different. I'm
first
just
knockdown or
saying words out my
129
ass
for the second
anyways.
knockdown. Turk not only was able to get that 54 and 128, but then capitalized on it in
They should
phase
be getting
3
set up
and
soon,
played
yes?
almost perfectly. Of course, other top players fought Tyson years later, but their best efforts came up short. In February 2011, Sinister 1 set his long-standing personal best of 219. He got a second knockdown of 132 thanks to a slower Tyson pattern, and then hit 4 frame-perfect hits in Phase 3 to end up with his time. For years, that was the fastest time with video. Then, in April 2014, Zallard got a 217 with a 133 second knockdown. 6 frame-perfect hits in Phase 3 led to the fast time. But still, Turk's time from 7 years prior was 4 seconds faster. They couldn't touch it. It stood alone. But then, in July 2014, Sinister 1 decided he was going to try to do it. Nearly all of Turk's records had fallen by that point, but his 213 was still standing. Sinister had 2 viable paths to beating it. The first was the long shot, where he would get the second knockdown by 133, which didn't require too much luck, then hit all 8 frame-perfect hits in Phase 3. Hitting all 8 frame-perfect hooks in Phase 3 could save 5 or more seconds over Turk's Phase 3, meaning his Phase 3 pattern essentially didn't matter. Hitting all 8 frame-perfect hits guaranteed he'd beat Turk, and could potentially beat him by several seconds. But of course, hitting all 8 was ridiculously hard, and it only
It's an
been
interesting
done a handful of
opinion that your
times in the
character
game's
needs to be
history
strong
over
for the
several
game to be
years.
like a healthy
So,
amount of
he had
challenge.
another plan.
I just think it's
The second
different.
method
It's a
was
different type
Sinister
of
was aiming
video
for,
game that rewards
getting
different
a first
skill
knockdown
sets.
closer to 130, then getting a better pattern from Tyson in
And just
Phase
lets you do
3
different
and hitting
things.
6 or 7 frame perfects like Turk did.
You know.
He essentially just had to match Turk's execution, then get better luck at the end of the fight, and would end up with a time like 211 or 212. Sinister's personal best was a 219. Over the course of a few months in 2014, he put in thousands of attempts to beat Turk and get a 212 on Tyson. Here's how it went.
Whoa, 218. I got a PB. Yay, PB. Wow, 216, dude. Holy shit. I just beat Zallard. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, that was almost a 54. Yes! Yes, dude. Oh my god. PB. Alright, at least I got a PB. Holy crap, man. Yes! I tied Turk at least, baby. I tied him. I tied him. I tied him. I tied him. I tied him.
Sinister had tied Turk's legendary 213, but he wasn't satisfied. He didn't want to match Turk. He wanted to beat him.
Nice.
It was 212 or bust.
Bro, it is crazy to me that this dude had all those world records for like a fucking decade and a half. It took speedrunners like over a decade and a half to be like, oh yeah, we'll beat those. That's fucking ridiculous. And I think it only existed because the game was so strict in like how you could save time. Like that would never happen in Mario 64, you know?
On
Like the game is just
September 6th,
too
2014,
there's
the
too many
punch-out
options to save
community
time.
woke up to this. A 210, not a 212, achieved by Zallard, not Sinister. While all eyes were on Sinister,
Yeah, believed it
Zallard
without
had
video
quietly been
proof.
doing attempts in the background.
I mean, if you're knowledgeable
His
enough and you
personal
can
best was
explain
at
yourself
216,
enough and
3
everything
seconds
lines
behind
up, it should
Sinister.
be, you know.
But on one magical attempt,
It's understandable
he
why they
dropped
believed
it
him.
by 6 seconds after landing all 8 frame perfect hits off of a 132. It was the first time Zallard had ever hit all 8 in Phase 3. The 213 was done. Zallard was the new Tyson champion. And Turk only had one untied record to his name. Soda Popinski in 46.48.
What a stupid
was it about this
fucking
fight that made
name.
it stand so long? Why did it outlast Dawn 2 with his absurd random stars? Why did it outlast Macho with the 1 in 500 pattern for the 48? Why did it outlast the 20 frame perfect punches on Mike Tyson? The answer was actually pretty simple. Nobody had any idea how Turk did it. Yeah, while Sinister and Zallard were spending months trying to beat each of Turk's 14 records, this one always just stood in the background. It was like a bad itch they just couldn't scratch. For all of the other 13 records, they at least had a path to beating them. They knew what he did and they knew how they could improve over it. For Soda Popinski, they had no idea. And since there was no video to go with
Bodinsky.
it,
Yeah, I guess
they
it was a
actually
reference
thought
to
it could
vodka, and
be a
Nintendo's like,
bonus time.
no, alcohol is bad.
Let's look at the fight itself.
If somebody
Eating
heard the
soda
word
fast
vodka,
takes
they would
advantage of a bizarre, glitchy
become an alcoholic.
When Soda throws an uppercut, if you press down to block or duck, Soda freezes in place. You're free to hit him in the gut when he does, and the star you get from that punch will automatically knock
Do I play
you
any
down no
MOBA games?
matter
I've
what.
played one game of League of
So
Legends in my
you just
life,
do
and
that
I
once
was
in each
on
phase to beat him
sleeping
very
meds at the
quickly.
time, and don't remember any of
Soda
it.
is also very random. He always starts each phase with 2 hooks, but then he only has a 75% chance of doing the uppercut pattern you need to beat him quickly. He can also randomly delay before the uppercut, with only a 25% chance he does the shortest delay. So you'd counter each of Soda's first 2 hooks, then duck and hope
My
Soda does the
brothers have been
fastest
playing League of
uppercut,
Legends like since it came
freeze him in
out.
place to get the
I have
star,
no interest in
then
playing it
cancel
personally.
his next uppercut and use the star to send him down. And if you did that in each phase,
I also
your
have
time would
like
be
no
49
opinion on it because I've
seconds,
never really played
3
it.
seconds behind Turk. You couldn't cancel his hooks any faster. You couldn't force a faster pattern. A 46 was just too fast. And so, long after each of Turk's other 13 records were beaten, this one stood, and stood, and stood. And then, McHazard came to the rescue. By early 2015, Zallard was very interested in finally taking Turk's last time down, so he asked McHazard for some help in figuring out how. McHazard pointed out that there were aspects of the tool-assisted speedrun for Soda that could probably be utilized in a real-time run. Namely, getting the frozen punch for a star quicker. The old process was holding down, then waiting for his uppercut, then having him freeze and punch him in the gut. With McHazard's method, you could press down, then assume he does the shortest
You still play it
delay
because you
and
spent
press
money on
B
it?
to gut
Oof.
punch, then press down while the punch is going off to freeze him in place. This works to get the star just the same, and it saves about 2 seconds, meaning phases could potentially be just 15 to 16 seconds long. And as it turns out, this is likely the method Turk used to get his time. The problem was, even with this strategy, beating Turk's time would be incredibly tough.
463.
You need both uppercuts and
I'm gonna go
shortest
save the
delay
game.
for each phase of the fight,
Oops.
which works out to odds of 1 in 151. The execution was tricky too, since the input of gut punching then tapping down was very precise. And what's more, Turk's time of 46.48 was very optimized for this strategy, meaning his execution was probably really tight.
That's called sunk cost fallacy, EasyJ. You should look that up. Are they starting yet? Should be soon, right? Speed gaming, yep. So they're at least getting set up for it. Okay. I'll keep grinding and we'll finish out this video. Can somebody just tell me if they're about
But
to
at
start the
least
race or
Zallard had a
not?
strategy now. On January 24th, 2015, he did attempts on Soda, with low expectations given the hard execution and 1 in 151 odds. But on attempt number 8, he was able to get out of phase 1.
We're at 463. Attack.
We got one. Now we just need 2 more in a row. Oh shit. Okay. Alright, What? What?
More of a keyboard player. Bought an Xbox controller. Okay. Nice. Oh, I just realized that the video is not showing for you guys. Oops.
Alright. Okay,
By some miracle, it had taken Zallard just 8 attempts to get 1 in 150 odds.
Oh, wow.
But this time fell short of Turk by half a second. And as Zallard kept playing, he realized that Turk's
I started at 400,
46.48
yes.
seemed to have better execution than he could get with the strategy he was doing. A high 46 seemed way more likely than a mid 46. So, he had reached a dead end. But just a few days later, someone found something huge. His name was Jack Wedge, and he had played the game alongside Turk more than a decade prior, at one point holding the Bald Bull 1 world record. But he had come back all these years later to share a new strategy he had just discovered, the screwdriver. After canceling Soda's first 2 hooks, you could hold down a right dodge, then press B and then down to hit him in the gut right as Matt comes back to the center. This right dodge wasted the exact number of frames so that the gut punch hit Soda on the first frame possible to make the strategy work.
Yeah, about an hour of it was setting up the grind.
With this, Zallard knew he had a legitimate shot at beating Turk. He did more attempts to see what he could get, and on January 29th, 2015, he got this.
Oh, fuck. Oh my god, dude. Is that it? Is that it? Holy shit. Holy shit.
When Sinister 1 started to run this game in 2010, he had no idea what was in store for the future. Matt Turk's records were just too good. To quote himself, they had little to no chance at even sniffing some of those times. Instead, over the next 5 years, this is what the community accomplished.
That's it. That's it. That's it. I just beat the fucking Taz. Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god, dude. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it.
World record. World fucking record, dude. Yes.
Yes! Holy shit!
Will I post the grind on YouTube? Probably not publicly, but it'll be like in an unlisted
Holy
playlist.
shit. No fucking...
Because I do want it to be available for people to watch if they really want to watch 100 hours of this.
Holy shit, it's fucking done. It's
Just to
fucking
prove that I did it.
Yes! 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 Fuck yes! 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 Fuck yes! It's over, dude. That's it. That is it.
Hell yeah. I think they're about to start. Let's pull it up. I'm sorry, what's going on here? Is Jupiter streaming like directly to?
Tribute.
Because Jupiter's not online apparently.
And make them your slaves.
Is Jupiter streaming like through an RTMP server or something? That's so weird. Or streaming on an alt account maybe? Why? That's so annoying. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I just missed that. Aham Kugara, sorry, I'm dyslexic. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Holy crap. We've been doing this for, this is my 3rd sitting, I want to say. The first sitting we did was like 100 or 10 hours, I think, total. Dude, what the, why is Jupiter not, what is happening? I just wanted to watch the race. I don't want to just restream the speed gaming stream. That feels a little rude. Okay. Cool. I'm very confused, but I mean, whatever. To each their own, I guess. I guess we're just watching it from here. YOLO. All right. Cool. If you guys want to watch this on the Speed Gaming channel, it's Speed Gaming 5. But I guess we're just going to chill in here while they figure their shit out. Guess we could listen to some music as well. Don't need any of this stuff open anymore. What was the video explaining you going for the record? If you want to see, it's my world record progression or speedrun progression, I think is what I called it. Oh, not progression, progression. Right here. 9 years of world records. 9 years of runs and world records. Speedrun progression. It's a really good video if you haven't seen it. At least I think that's the one you're asking for. I guess they're about to get started. Come on. There we go. I guess we're just waiting for them to get started. It looks like neither of them are necessarily ready yet anyways. So while they're getting ready, let me go save the game. Because whoever wins this race is the person that I will be racing in grand finals. So I do want to watch this. Because this is going to determine who I race. Alright. Oh, it looks like... Looks like they just started.